What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Saturday night to you all. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas, and welcome to the Awakening World. We have got an amazing show tonight. When we started way back in early April 2020, the pandemic was happening, and we started doing online shows, and our most popular show was Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And Ken Kaufman and Deborah Giusti were my two co-hosts, and the three of us co-hosted that show. Well, Ken is the founder and creator and the man behind the New Living Expo. And tonight is our annual show highlighting the Expo. So I'm really excited. We're going to have Ken with us serving as co-host. And look at the incredible people he's got coming with us. Our beloved brother, Danyan Brinkley, is coming to us all the way from the East Coast. We love Danyan. And a new friend, Sasha Stone, who many of you know. He's a very well-known fellow, but it's his first time on the show. He's with us tonight. We're also going to be meeting a new friend, Vincent Jenna, just like a general, coming to us. So that's exciting. And we always have wonderful, wonderful music on our shows. And tonight we've got who will be on all the people you're seeing, of course, are going to be featured at the New Living Expo, including our beloved Astra Fox, who has become one of the most popular people on Global Peace Tribe. So it's kind of a wonderful cross section between her and New Living Expo and us. And Star Child, formerly known as Fanny, and Vigari are going to be with us tonight. So we're excited about that. And we've got a couple of other guests. Where's Radley? Radley, where are you hiding? Well, we've got Radley, who is with us somewhere out there in the ether. He'll be joining us. And Kelly Sullivan is probably going to be joining us. And as always, we are going to start with dynamic music. And of course, that's our co-pilot, the man who makes all things happen, Mr. Omashar.
Yes, and that would be me. And whilst I'm muting some folks, namaste and welcome everybody. And yes, it's a beautiful Saturday night, and I'm really excited. Some of the guests on the show tonight are some of my favorite people in the universe. Some of them are new, and gentlemen like Sasha, I've followed your work for a while, and you rock, brother. And so anyway, here's a lovely little ditty called In the Stillness that we shall start with. And let's rock. Well, gently, that is. know you can hear in the silence, in the stillness, I am here. Through the wisdom of your tears, through your heartbreaks, through your breakthroughs, through the shedding of your fears, know that I am with you and guiding your way. Know that I am cheering you on. Truth lives within you and love leads us through. I love you. Now your heart and mind is clear, and you know that love is with you, love supports you, love is here. And you feel that you belong, and you're walking with purpose. You can hear your life's new song. So know that I am with you and guiding your way. Know that I am cheering you on. Truth lives within you and love leads us through. I love you. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-ba. Ah-da-da-da. Ah-da-da-da-ba-ba-ba. Through the wisdom of your tears, through your heartbreaks, through your breakthroughs, through the shedding of your fears, so know that I am with you and guiding your way. Know that I am cheering you on. Truth lives within you and love leads us through. I love you. I love you. I love you.
We are going to gallery view where we're all going to twinkle. For those of you new, we twinkle here on the Awakening World.
Yes, and I do love you. I feel us all in this beautiful container, if you want it to be that, but we're expanding this out to the world. Thank you. See you later. Love you.
Thank you, Omar Shah. And we will be hearing, of course, from Omar Shah throughout the show. And I want to welcome everybody watching on all of our different channels, all of our broadcast partners. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Conscious Awakening Network or Humanities Team, welcome. Also, those of you watching the recording, I know really our statistics show that most people watch the recording. So thank you. But of course, we also really love our in-person audience, our most loyal subscribers. So welcome, everybody. Well, I always enjoy, once a year, I get to co-host with Kenny Kaufman. And I've known Ken for decades. He's a great guy. As I said, he was one of the people who really helped get the Global Peace Tribe going. And so Ken, another year, another New Living Expo. For people that are new, who don't know about the New Living Expo, share with them a little bit about it, and then I'll take people to the website.
Okay, so basically the New Living Expo is a health and healing conference that's held once a year only once a year because my wife won't let me do it more often than that because it's too much work. And it happens at the Marin County Fairgrounds the last few years, and it's happening Mother's Day weekend. So if you're in the area, highly suggest you coming out. Love is such a undertone for this show because it's the love that I put into the show and the love that I have for the show for 35 years that has made it what it is. And it keeps getting better, and the energy is just so great that I just love hosting this. I love the fact that people can come on this platform, get a taste of the expo, and being from wherever, Australia, you don't have to come to the show. You can get a taste of it right here and now. So really just absorb it in and just enjoy it because it's just a wonderful, wonderful gathering. And Scott and I, we go back, many years, and the last, it's 5 years and maybe, a few weeks that Saturday Night Live started. So I'm really glad that I get asked to do this once a year, and I'm just an honored guest now and a co-host. So thank you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's great to have you with Kim. And boy, it seems like it was just last month was really last year, you know. It's amazing. As we get older, time flies by faster, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And 70 years old now, and I feel like I'm, you know, forever 55.
Well, I'm 69, so you're my big brother then. I appreciate that. We'll remind everybody, all the people you've seen tonight are part of the New Living Expo. And you can learn all about it by going to newlivingexpo.com. One of the featured speakers is John Gray. He's been on this show many times, and guess what? He's going to be on the show again tonight. He'll be with us in a little bit. And this is where you can learn all about the different things. There's great food there. There's a bookstore. There's shopping. There's exhibits. And of course, just amazing presenters. If you take a look at the speakers schedule, you can just see how thick it is. Now, this is just Friday at 5 o'clock it starts. So it's really pretty much just Friday night is when it begins. And then once we get into the full schedule, look at how much is happening. And this is the Saturday schedule. And I can't even get it all on my screen. There's so many speakers. And in addition to speakers, there's panels, planetary ascension, the latest on what's happening with UFOs and UAPs, the secrets behind the scenes, so on and so forth. It's an extraordinary collection. And many of our favorite presenters will be there in person. So you can actually have a chance to meet a lot of the people you've seen on this show live, including our first guest tonight, one of the most popular people that's ever been on the show. I'm going to do a brief introduction, then turn it over to you, Ken, to complete it. And of course, I'm talking about Dannion Brinkley. And I go all the way back to 1994 when I was working as a producer on a show called The Other Side. It was a daytime talk show on NBC. And I booked this guy, Dannion Brinkley. And Dannion and I have known each other ever since. I know he and Ken go all the way back. He, of course, is a best-selling author and probably the foremost spokesperson for two things: near-death experiences and that death is an illusion, and also for hospice care. Dannion has helped thousands of people in hospice. I've watched him in action, and it's beautiful. So, Dannion, it's great to have you back on the show, and I'll let Ken add a few words as well.
Yeah, I'll just say, Dannion, it's an honor and just a privilege to be, your friend, and I get to sponsor you every year, and you're one of the best advocates and promoters of New Living Expo when you're doing shows and stuff, and you're always busy doing something, and it's just great to have you come back every year, and it's such an honor. And you wrote so many books, and your hospice work is over the top with the vets, and you add so much love to humanity that I'm so grateful to be your friend. And it's great to have you. And you're just gonna rock it. And no death can get you. You're not ready to go yet. You've got 9 lives like a cat. You got a few more to go. So you know, I'll let you take it over from here, and enjoy everybody. Dannion Brinkley speaking from the heart. Thank you.
Yeah, Daniel, you've been threatening to die for a very long time. I remember I had you on the paranormal borderline, and you said that you weren't going to be around much longer. Well, that was back in 1996. So I love that you're still with us. And tell our audience, what are you up to now? Where are you putting your time and attention?
Well, I'm in the business of beating death again. If you can look and see, I have this shirt. I have this shirt on, and I have an infection that I'm trying to keep from getting to my heart. It's pretty amazing when you have an ejection fraction of between 19 and 20. I amazed the cardiologist that I could still function and get around. But Scott, I remember this first show when you were first doing it when all of that business was going on in the shutdown. And Ken, I have loved and appreciated Ken because I watch how hard he has worked to put this show on year after year after year.
Whoops. We might have just lost Daniel for a minute. Hopefully, come
He's
back.
still here, but the his camera.
While we're waiting for Ken, I'm going to read a couple of comments that have come in from our audience. George Noble points out that it was Ken and his Expo that introduced him to Vivian Chauvet, Daniel Brinkley, and John Gray, and how grateful he is for that. Dr. Laura writes, wow, Ken. And I'm going to put the spotlight on you, Ken, since I'm sharing what people are saying to you. She writes, 35 years. That is a great gift to humanity. She's asking, Ken, can you imagine the countless people who have been awakened or healed because of the connections made at your expo? Kudos. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dr.
And
Laura.
people have met their soulmates and gotten married many, many times. So much that sometimes I'll even thought that maybe I should do weddings at the expo because if you met your soulmate there, maybe you should get married there. It's
Well,
amazing how many connections are there. You?
I'm an officiant, and I perform wedding ceremonies, often for my clients that I've successfully helped through. So maybe next year's expo will have like, who wants to get married at the New Living Expo? That would be a fun thing to do, huh?
Yeah,
Uh,
become a little wedding expo.
Absolutely. Well, we're not sure where Daniel is. I know that Sasha Stone needs to get going. So why don't we go ahead and introduce Sasha? We'll bring him on, and hopefully Daniel will come back because I see Sasha's right here with us. And I'll bring him on, and I'll mention I have been hearing about your work for a long time, brother, but I saw you at the Conscious Life Expo and blown away with what you're creating. It's really, really exciting. So I'd love for you to share with our audience about that. And Ken, do you want to add anything as an introduction?
Well, it's just, Sasha, you've been on our radar for so many years now, and I am so grateful that you picked this one to join us. And I'm really grateful that you are part of the show, and I'm really glad you were able to come on tonight because I know you're traveling all over the place and you're going, here, there, and everywhere, and you're doing some phenomenal work for the humanity. And I'm just so grateful and honored that you took the time tonight and to join us and give us a little taste about who you are and what you're about, because a lot of our attendees have never seen you before. You've never been with the expo before. So it's just like a nice opening. So, you know, let's see
Well,
what you have.
indeed. Well, I'm very happy to join your family. What a beautiful, beautiful song Nicholas opened with. Very beautiful, and my first impressions are just delightful. You look like a sort of Hollywood matinee idol, Ken, and my lovely friend Scott looks like a rock god. So I'm in good company. Very happy to be in good the pantheon, a pantheon of archetypal gods. I've just got back to Miami in the last couple of days from Central and Southern Africa. I was there for 3 weeks. I broke my US tour in half so that I could get to Africa and continue some work out there. Just got back to pick up the second leg of my US tour, which will take me for the next 2 months, meandering across much of the East Coast and ending up actually in Tennessee, where on Midsummer's Day we will be consecrating the New Earth micronation in Tennessee, which we call Tanasi, named by the Cherokee originally. And the event that we're doing, the consecration and proclamation event of the New Earth land in Tanasi, Tennessee, in Midsummer's Day, is very important event. We have many of the paramount hereditary elders and leaders coming from around the country and actually from around the world, literally all around the world. Some coming in on the big screen, others are going to come in person. The King of Hawaii is coming in, and we are enacting an act of atonement. And in a sense, returning the land symbolically back to the First Nation peoples, since it was really heisted in the last 500 years of the Vatican conquests and all of that. So undoing those arcane spells and bonds is much of my work. The New Earth Project, the New Earth Initiative. So the mechanics of how do we unlock the invisible and visible treaties, contracts, compacts, which have bonded all the land, soil of the earth really into the corporation, the parent corporation. And how do we free ourselves as sons and daughters of God, as children of God, from those visible and invisible bonds as well, like treasury bonds and all of that stuff. So that aspect of the work that I've been doing for now 25 years is esoteric, but I believe it to be incredibly important. And I'm very pleased and honored that I am now enjoined by so many people from around the world in this undertaking, and certainly scores and scores and scores of the paramount chiefs and kings of kings, and the seminal hereditary elders and leaders from the Aboriginals in Australia all the way to Inuits in in the northern climes across the board. That's really the thrust of the work I'm doing, is claiming sovereignty of the soil, claiming sovereignty of the fabric of human soul from the thrall of a 2,000-year blood conquest of the Roman Empire. But really, in the last 500 years, I'd say the Vatican complex and how the imperial crowns of Europe were set forth under the banner of the Vatican to lay claim to all the gold, all the soil, and to the souls of our children. That's what treasury bonds are, and birth bonds are, and registrations and certifications. They're all ways that we've been securitized and collateralized by the corporation. And that satanic witchery must end if we're serious about the emergence of the Rainbow Warrior tribe, which is you and I, good humans with warm blood. And that's, I hope, describes in a few minutes the thrust of the work that I'm doing.
Thanks, Joshua. Dr. Laura wants to know if your ceremonies in Tennessee are open to the public. Can people come to that?
To some extent, I mean, it's a big undertaking we're doing there. What I urge people to do is to go to they can go to my website and that way make contact and see if they can get into the event. There's about 350 people coming in. They are tickets. You have to purchase a ticket because we're putting on all the logistics, all the food, and all the catering, and flying in a lot of people from around the world. So it's not a money-making exercise by a long chalk. We'll end up underwriting it, but it is there's a ticket price to it. There's also a 3-day retreat leading up to it with myself, Dr. David Martin, Laura Eisenhower, Kathy O'Brien. I believe Foster Gamble is coming in. I'm certainly going to be cracking a whip on him and Kimberly. He said he wouldn't miss it for the world. The constitutional sheriffs, under the aegis of good, my dear friend, the Sheriff Richard Mack, coming in as well with the badges and the guns. And, we're really just putting a beautiful line in the sand to the war powers. And on that day, doing this consecration proclamation event, I'll also have the Secretariat of the International Tribunal for Natural Justice in attendance, and the Secretariat of the World Hereditary Council in attendance. So this is a planetary event. This is a line in the sand, Midsummer's Day 2025, Anno Domini, in the false light Babylonian calendar. It is time for us to reclaim this world for the sons and daughters of God. So that's the real work that we're doing. The short answer is yes, there may well be space for people to still come in. They'll have to go to the website and check that out.
Okay, so I want to share a few things. I put this in the chat box, but for all of you watching on Facebook, YouTube, or the recording, Sasha is in the midst of quite a tour schedule. He's off to Melbourne, Florida on April 27. Then he's doing the Charlie Ward Miami event on May 2nd. May 4th, he's in Fort Lauderdale. And then he comes to us. He comes to San Rafael, where I will be there, and many of us will be there meeting him in person at the New Living Expo. After the Expo, he's heading to Asheville, North Carolina on May 20th. On May 22nd, he goes to Charlottesville, Virginia. May 25th, he goes to Tyrone, Pennsylvania. May 31st, Manhattan. June 3rd, Long Island. June 6th, Martha's Vineyard. And then the big event that he was just talking about from June 19th to the 21st in Tennessee for the Consecration Proclamation event. And you can find out all the things by going, and I really encourage people to join his organization, join the Lazarus Initiative. Now, it's really easy. Everybody, grab your cell phones. I know you all have a cell phone, and you can use his QR code. I'm going to do it myself because I don't want to join. So go in, go there, go to the QR code. I got it. And that will take you right to the LazarusInitiative.com. For those of you who want to write it down, it's LazarusInitiative.com. And he's got a lot of features, and it's, we got to support this guy. He's really doing extraordinary work, and it's important to support him. So, Sasha, I've got to ask you, what are your thoughts about the death of Pope Francis and how that may help with the shift that we're all wanting to see take place?
Thanks for that question. That for me is a pointed question. I'm not a fan of this Jesuit Pope, and I don't buy into the fact that he was a progressive individual. He was simply entrusted with a function. He was under instruction to conduct a soft demolition of the Vatican. Over the last few years, the Vatican technically went into foreclosure on the 1st of April 2013. And as a direct result of the One People's Public Trust filings under UCC convention in late December of 2012, 90 days of no rebuttals, and the Vatican technically went into foreclosure. People of the world don't know that as a rule. I've been very deeply involved for over 20 years. I exaggerate, it's exactly 20 years, since 2005. I've been directly involved at times as one of the living trustees of hereditary redemption connected to the collaterals, hereditary collaterals. It's a long, deep, convoluted, and very enigmatic story about how the world now reclaims itself from this long thrall of a corporatization, of being, conquested and contained and bonded. It goes back to 1066. It goes back to, the doctrines of discovery in the Vatican in the 15th century. It's a complicated story, but this Pope who just shuffled off the mortal coil was very much under instruction to undertake the soft demolition. And to that end, I dare say he fulfilled his mission, but it does not excuse the fact that he was directly involved in the Argentinian junta in the 1970s in trafficking exercises and what have you. But then that's the whole story really of the Vatican, and which is the genesis point of the deep state, the so-called deep state, that very Leviathan, which, love him or hate him, Donald Trump and Bobby Kennedy and others are seeking to dismantle right now. I'm not hearing you, Scott. Forgive
You're
me.
muted, Scott.
Somebody muted me. Yeah, I had a feeling you'd have a strong feeling about that. And I want to show people, again, who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, here is his website, LazarusInitiative.com. Make sure that you register so that you can keep track. And yes, I will check my email to make sure that I'm a part of the email. I've I know you need to go, but I do want to ask you one more
No,
question.
I'm here for the duration. I'm watching your show. I'm loving it.
Oh, okay, great. All right, good. Well, um, you have been in the trenches and all around the world. You're one of the great globetrotters of our global peace tribe. What's happening outside of the United States? We know there's a civil war going on here. But what are some of your observations? You just got back, I believe, from Africa. What are your observations? And you've got land in Africa. What are your observations about what's happening in parts of the world that we don't get to hear about?
In the first instance, I have a home in Bali in Indonesia, which is very famous in Bali, known as Akasha, New Earth Haven, and I've had that for 20 years. I have about 35 or 40 staff out there, and that's a beautiful place which receives people from around the world. A lot of people do a kind of pilgrimage to that place. It was designed and built really to elevate art, beauty, and consciousness as a signature. So we don't turn a dime, but it's an incredibly beautiful place, and we it functions, and we do ceremony and receive a lot of people. And I just had the hereditary leader, Chief Phil Lane Jr., essentially the most palpable paramount chief of the Americas, flew out there a few weeks back to conduct the eighth fire ceremony with the high priests of Indonesia at the New Earth Haven. We were really bridging the hemispheres with a very sacrosanct event. Um, Asia is in a state of discombobulation, I would suggest, in the main. It's kind of in a whirligig space. Africa, from which I've just returned a couple of days ago, I was with the King of Kings of Southern Africa, of Central Africa, and meeting with the Parliament there, meeting with the leaders in a couple of the governments there. One of the leaders just phoned me about an hour and a half ago, saying that there was a kidnap attempt against him this afternoon. He telephoned me and asked me to help get the word out, which I've been doing with special forces in Southern Africa in the last hour or so. You know, what I'm saying is the work that I'm doing in the form of diplomacy that I am engaged in is it's very cut and thrust. It's 8 days a week, and my phone rings constantly. And I'm helping to patch things in as a citizen diplomat, but somebody who's got more reach than the average African leader because of the 25 years that I've done networking. So I get a good, getting to the answer of the question, I have a good finger on the pulse, a very good finger on the pulse. I'm speaking to leadership constantly, whether it's hereditary leadership or political leadership or cultural or religious leadership and so on. Africa is on the cusp, moving from Asia to Africa. Africa is on the cusp of systemic revolution of the most positive, upshifting kind we could imagine. The newly appointed president in Burkina Faso, coupled with the Namibian leader this week making her declarations, Africa is on the cusp of the most incredible upshift in, I'd say, half a millennia. Everything's going to change. Everything is going to change in the next 36 to 48 months in Africa. And Africa, I'd remind people, especially the educated West, who think they know how the world works, but have very little idea because they're too generally intoxicated into liberal intellectualism, which is a kind of mind virus. And many people amongst your community, I think, would sympathize with what I'm saying and understand it. But the fact of the matter is that Africa has been the cornerstone of the global economy, and it has been ransacked and plundered by imperialism from the West, and that includes this country, United States, for centuries. That is going to end. What Trump and DC are doing right now is the right thing. They are reining the horse in and, in a sense, circling the wagons. That's what Vladimir Putin started to do 20 years ago, incidentally. Again, liberal intellectuals can't stand Vladimir Putin, but that's because they don't understand anything about the Bolshevik Revolution or about who was behind communism and socialism. That was actually the crowns of Europe, emphasis the Crown of England, and Washington, the Anglo-American Compact. Wall Street financed the Bolshevik Revolution, the collapse of the Romanov dynasty. And then Wall Street financed the rise of Maoism in China and created the very creature that today we're all blaming and demonizing. So we need a serious reality check in the West, in the imperial West, especially, I will say again, amongst the liberal intellectual class. So I have more fun stirring the shit at dinner tables in Geneva and in Hollywood and amongst the intellectual enclaves, because that's really where we need to wake up. Middle America is doing fine. The pitchforks, the guns, and the Bibles have their finger on the pulse of the true human. And that's where I throw my lot in. That's why I'm going across the country for the umpteenth time. I don't charge ever for my public speaking. I'm going to do a social tour. I pay for my own touring in that sense because I want to learn from Middle America and I want to be heard as well. I'm bringing some message of redemption and salvation in a sense to the people that I care the most about. But the whole world is on the precipice of this upshift, and I can tell you this much in closing: the extraterrestrial aspect is so real. The galactic genome, which is the human, is also on the cusp of an angelic resurrection in a sense. It's all changing. Biology itself is changing. The photons impacting our planet right now, courtesy of our movement through the ecliptic, is changing the geometry and the angle of light, impacting every cell, every atom, every molecule on and in within the Earth. So that is the mechanics of ascension are underway. What to say? It's all good, Scott. There is no part of what's coming that is not divinely anointed and divinely appointed.
Thank you for briefly taking us on a trip around the world. There's lots of questions going on in the chat box. I'm going to go back to Danyan in just one moment, but one quick question. Dr. Laura wanted to know, what's your perspective on China as far as Africa? Her question is China in Africa to plunder or to assist?
China has never been the problem. China is a victim of psycho-civilizational and psychocultural demonization, again, by imperial Western or globalist Western interests. So be clear, it was the Western banking sector, but I'd call it the led really through the black nobility, the Swiss enterprise, IMF, Bank of International Settlements, that kind of thing, driving Wall Street. We created China. It is literally our creature. It picked up a lot of tricks and is now racing ahead in many ways. China is not going to be any kind of threat to the West, never was a threat to the West. As far as I'm concerned, China has never invaded another country, nor has Russia for that matter. And no, it did not invade Ukraine. It was defending Russians in Ukraine as part of its greater Soviet landholding. So again, people do not understand, especially the liberal intellectual informed classes, know nothing about the truth of Ukraine. I was involved deeply in Ukrainian politics. It was me who sent in a rescue squad to rescue Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko 12, 13 years ago when she was being assassinated, slowly poisoned behind bars. I was involved at that time, knowing that the Western forces, especially through the European element, were trying to hack their way into the Ukraine. And then they tried in Lithuania in 2016. I was there addressing the parliament. I got poisoned amongst my network. It's a famous incident. But, I was involved in Lithuanian politics also in 2016, where those same interests were trying to hack into Russia through Lithuania. So I'm speaking about Russia because Russia is the soft lily pad toward China. And this, perceived threat of socialism and communism is just an absolute nonsense. China is doing its own reorchestration. The dragon families are involved in doing their own redemption. That's why BRICS has emerged. I know because I'm in direct contact with these dragons and these so-called white hats. That's much of my work in the last 20 years. So the Russian collaterals and the Chinese, Philippine, and Indonesian collaterals have been lent in together, the hereditary collaterals, the real underpinning of the global economy, and also African collaterals. That's where BRICS is emerging now and changing the whole chemistry and economic ecology of the planet. China is not the Western media driven by certain interests, seeks to continue to create the artifice of these threats, existential threats, in order to conflate, construe, and scare people into a state of abeyance to new agendas that then get installed. And we have to stop that. You and I, good humans, have to simply stop allowing ourselves to be, in that sense, programmed. I see Daniel's back in, and I don't want to take from Daniel's time. In fact, I only attended today on the promise that Daniel was going to sing for us. So I'm very much hoping he's still intending to do so. I miss you, brother. I miss you.
Sasha, thank you so much. And you provide a really valuable. I recognize that a lot of what Sasha says might be very different from what people have read or believe. And here we are open to all thoughts and beliefs. We don't judge. But I think that Sasha and his work is definitely well worth other people, at the very least, go to his website, sign up, learn more about what he has to say, because it's important. And there are a lot of comments that came in, most of them very positive, a few a little bit triggered. But I want to acknowledge one, which is certainly the one I resonate the most with. It's from our dear Astra, who commented on what we heard Sasha say. There is nothing that is coming that is not divinely appointed. Ashe, may it be so. And speaking of divine appointment, he's back. Thank you, Sasha. Daniel Brinkley. Now, Daniel, you've always had the gift of sight. What can you share from your vantage point about our future?
Well, I agree a lot with what Sasha's saying. Some of the dynamics of the language, a lot of people won't understand, but that's okay, Scott. Remember, if anybody who knows that I saw the future events to 2030, and so much of what he's saying is really happening. Anybody who read Saved by the Light sees that I put in there on chapter 5 in box 12 that literally reinforces a lot of what Sasha's saying. It's just that my focus is healthcare. When I keep coming back, it's because I believe that the battle for the souls of humankind will be fought in healthcare. And we are watching it. And when you began this show during that period of time when we were all shut in, it was so much to set up what I'd already written about. I believe that we're in the middle of an evolutionary, revolutionary change. And when Sasha was talking about proton bombardment, we have to pay close attention to what we now call solar flares. The solar flares, they use that term, but these solar flares have so much concentrated neutrino bombardment on the Earth that literally, as Sasha was saying, we are changing. We are metamorphosizing. We are changing as humans. We are evolving. And the system that is around us is trying to control that. What healthcare does is how they seek to control us or to eliminate a lot of us or to heighten awareness of control. What will you not do to protect your children, your grandchildren? What will you not do to protect your parents, your uncles, your aunts, or your grandparents? We've already all seen that in that last 4-year run, what that is. My business is about healthcare. I've been a hospice volunteer for 48 years. I went to see my 2018 hospice person. I found him lying in the yard with a stroke. This was day before yesterday. I took him to the hospital, and I was sitting in the hospital paying attention to how it all works. The revolution has to come and change. So I'm agreeing a lot with what Sasha's saying. I believe that China is not a threat, although I'll disagree with Sasha about whether China ever invaded anywhere, because when we pulled out of Vietnam, the Chinese sent 2 battalions, 2 brigades into Vietnam. It didn't last very long because the Vietnamese destroyed them all. But other than that, I don't see China as a threat. I look at Russia, like Sasha. I went to Russia. The only time I ever missed Ken's show, I think, was because I was teaching in St. Petersburg and in Moscow and in Kiev. And I did programs there every other year for like 10 years. So I have a pretty good range on what's happened in Central and South America, Middle East, and Russia. I still have Steven Seagal, who is a still good friend of mine, and he lives in Moscow, and we talk literally every week or every other week, and he gives me an idea about what's going on. But what my driver, Scott, is people need to take care of themselves. Being responsible for your health care and paying attention to it is the single most important thing that anyone could be doing today, because that is where the weakest point of our stability is. If anybody sees Danyon.com after 48 years, I put my name on a program that is now the Brinkley Center. I think that what I'm going to talk about at the New Living Expo is if you look at the near-death experience, is 50 years. Raymond's landmark book, Life After Life, is 50 years. And so what is the cultural legacy of the near-death experience? And so my whole program will be about the three major components of the cultural legacy of what the near-death experience is.
I think he's gone.
Well, Astra, turn your camera on because I was going to go to you after Danyon. If he doesn't come right back on, I think we'll go to Astra because after everything we've heard from Sasha and Danyon, it'd be good to have a little bit of music. By the way, Sasha.
I'm here, Scott.
Oh, you back? Where are
Yeah.
you?
I'm right here.
There's no video. We're just going to listen to you, Danyon.
Okay, here's the audio, Scott. The cultural legacy of the near-death experience. And I'll go into detail at Kenny's show. No one's going to die. It does not happen. It's the dumbest thing that's ever been placed upon us. Number two, 95% of everybody who has a near-death experience says they lifted out of their body. They saw their body lying in the bed, in the car wreck. They saw their body lying somewhere. Well, if you could watch your body, Scott, then you are not that body. And why I can never see what people have never come to realize, Scott, that if you can look at your body and you're floating above it, then you are not that body. And I'm going to go into detail how to establish the fact that you're not that body. Because if you're not that body, because you could look at it, then what is important? You're either solid, liquid, or a gas. And because of quantum physics, we now have another name. We have another name. It's called plasma.
Well, while we're waiting for Danyon to come back, this is his website. It's his first name, Danyon, DANNION.com. And that's where you can learn all about him. Of course, he has an amazing story. And if you haven't read the book or watched the movie they made about him, it's an incredible, one of the great near-death experience stories. They made a movie out of his book and his story, Saved by the Light. But then learn more about the amazing hospice work that he does. And this is all at danyon.com. And of course, come see him in person. Come to the New Living Expo. Are you back?
I'm back. So I'll finish. Plasma. So plasma would be electrical. The key to the legacy of the near-death experience is that you're an electrical being. And once a person starts to understand this, you're not going to die, you're not this body, and you're an electrical being. The very moment you put these concepts into reality in your life, it will shift your consciousness.
It'll shift your consciousness the way it is shifting our audio back and forth and in and out. Just got to roll with the punches, kid.
I'm really sorry about this, Scott, but remember this. Don't miss. If a person wants to truly open up their minds and their hearts, do not miss Kenny's show. It's a different kind of show. I've been with him probably I've been probably 35 years. I may have missed one or two, but I know and love to do this program because it's so shifting and so changing for people, and it's so important. So if you're an electrical being, what is more important than understanding that part of you, that you won't die, that you are not this body, and that you're an electrical being? This begins the whole new viewpoint of who people are and a whole new viewpoint of way to see themselves.
Beautiful. Daniel, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to being with you in person, getting a big Daniel hug, and take good care of yourself. Take care of that precious heart of yours. And we are going to go to Astra Fox for some music.
Be blessed, God.
Love you, Daniel.
Love you guys. Don't miss Kenny's show, everybody.
That's why we're here, because of Kenny's show. There's Daniel. All right, we get a chance to see you one more time.
Don't miss it, everybody.
All right. We love you, Daniel. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Scott. Thank you.
Well, what's really wonderful is Astra Fox has become one of our favorite musical artists. And what was funny was I said to Ken, hey, there's a great gal in the Bay Area. We love her on our show. You should have her at the New Living Expo. And I said, it's Astra Fox. He said, oh, yeah, we got her booked. So you're going to be playing on Saturday morning, I believe, at the Expo. But you're also going to be playing right now for us. And I'm excited about that.
I'm excited as well. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. Thank you. I've been really enjoying the show. And I'm just honored to be with all of you and to be joining the New Living Expo for the first time as a musician.
Beautiful. Ken, is there anything you'd like to add in introducing or sharing Astra?
Oh, I go to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa, and Dr. Edward, who's the minister there, actually married us at Harbin Hot Springs 21 years ago. And Astra has been, I've seen Astra perform there in the music so many times. And, when she reached out to me and wanted to be a musician and a presenter at the show, I'm like, wow, I was honored. So it was synchronicity and timing. So love the church and love you too. So thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And I'll plug, I'm going to be there tomorrow morning at 9 and 11. And I'll be sharing this song. It's called Connected. And I'm excited to sing it all for you now. Shall I take it away, Scott?
Yes, please.
All right. So I allow you to, or ask you to take in these words, these melodies, and this song to remember your divinity. I am connected to this divine source of love that guides me through this world. I make an impact with each being I meet. Today is exactly what I need for my together. You are worthy. Here we go. For my highest good. Ready? Here we go. Everybody. For my highest good. For my highest good. I am worthy. Yes, you are. One more time. Really feel it. For my highest good. For my highest good. I am worthy. For I am connected to this divine source of love that guides me through this world.
Ah, let's all give her a big twinkle. That was beautiful. We are all worthy. There it is. Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
I want to point out a couple things. Astra, tell us about this very special online activation that you're going to be doing.
Oh, thank you so much. And, I haven't even shared this on socials or my website or anywhere. So y'all are getting it first. It's on Tuesday, May 27th, and it's a free 1-hour webinar where I'm going to be sharing a process that I developed through my own creative exploration. I used to have a lot of beliefs about my creativity and songwriting, like I only write songs when I'm depressed. Happy songs are cheesy, right? And that creativity came spontaneously and randomly, so that I couldn't really sit down and be intentional or really plan out when I wanted to allow my creative expression to come through. So this is for everyone because we're all creative beings. And so if you're creatively curious or you already identify as being a creative, you are welcome here. As I said, it's free to attend. It's an hour on Zoom, and it's part of my Creative Awakening series that I'm doing, where I'm pairing my creative gifts of songwriting and tapping in as a creative channel, as well as my spiritual life coaching and mindset alchemy as a master practitioner of NLP and hypnosis. So please go to the link and sign up, and I'd love to see all of you there.
Beautiful. And she mentioned her coaching, and you can learn all about her coaching by going to her website, which is joyfulpurposecoaching.com. joyfulpurposecoaching.com. And what a beautiful, are you going to take me to one of those things? And how many which one's motorcycles? And I never know, well, are we supposed to does that include this bit or anyway?
Right. Are you a robot from a robot? Exactly.
Not yet. AI hasn't gotten a hold of me quite yet like that. But Joyful Purpose Coaching is where you can find the wonderful things that she has to offer. And she's going to be back with one more song a little bit later on in the show. So it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. I'm going to put the link for the workshop in there because, as I said, it's not even on my website yet. So y'all.
Okay, great. And I'll share that again when you come back on.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
And a reminder that everybody you're seeing tonight, for the most part, is going to be at the New Living Expo. And so you want to be there too. The New Living Expo, you can learn all about it by going to newlivingexpo.com. It's happening in San Rafael at the Marin County Fairgrounds, May 9th, 10th, and 11th. And it's going to be a wonderful gathering of tribe. Back in the day, everybody was looking for their soulmate. And now everybody's looking for their community or their tribe. And you will find your community, you will find your tribe at the New Living Expo. It's going to be a great place where all of us can come together, connect, enjoy good food, listen to Astro play music, listen to all the presenters you're seeing tonight, presenting their wisdom and all All good stuff. Also, I want to invite all of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, and I see that we went out to over 150 Facebook groups and pages today. Thank you to the Sign Network for doing that. Thank you, John and Summer Raymer. And for those of you who are watching that way, come on into the Zoom room. It's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com. Click register for the new season. That'll take you to our registration page. There's lots of different ways that you can come in. And what will happen is you'll immediately get the Zoom room links for all of our shows for the next 3 months. We do a show every Wednesday night and every Saturday night. All of our shows are filled with amazing presenters and always great music. Our beloved house musical artist, Omashar, and guests like Astra Fox. So definitely come join us. I'm going to turn it back over to Ken, our co-host tonight, to introduce our next guest.
Well, thank you again, Scott and Astra, and just loving all the music and the good vibes. So we'll keep that going for the next couple of weeks so we can launch this expo. Vincent Jenna has been one of our on our radar for several years to get him into the show, and by the grace of God, he agreed to do it. He's a psychic therapist, a celebrated medium, and a spiritual master known as the visionary of our times. He blends over 41 years of expertise in spirituality, metaphysics, and psychology to inspire transformation. Through his best-selling books, podcasts, media appearances, Vincent empowers people worldwide to achieve extraordinary breakthroughs. He'll share with us today some of his insights and some of his wisdom. And I really look forward to hearing what he has to say. And we'll see more of him 90 minutes on Saturday, May 10th at 11:30. If you make that one of your date things to do when you're here in San Rafael, north of the bridge, maybe 20 minutes, very easy to get to. And we have the Embassy Suites, which is where all the speakers are going to be. And then all the exhibits are at the Marin Center. And we have the outside area is also food, music, body movement, and exhibitors outside too. So lots of good things happening. So take it away, Vincent.
Well, Ken, thank you very much. And I am excited to be there. And by the way, also on Friday from at 4 p.m., I believe it is, I'll be doing a talk, Become Unstoppable, What's Holding You Back? And as Ken said, I am a psychic therapist and spiritual teacher and medium. And I'm also proud to say that I'm one of those middle-class humanists. I wouldn't say necessarily a liberal, but I'm there, and I'm very proud to say that. I mean, somebody needs to help heal this world. In any case, yes. Why I call myself a psychic therapist is because when I began having this psychic ability and I was getting into the deep psyches of the human mind and the soul for people, I felt a responsibility to really learn more about the human mind. So I actually went back to school full time and I obtained my BA in psychology and my master's in clinical social work. So yes, you can say I'm both a psychic and a psycho. A therapist. I just want to make sure that that's clear there. And like Daniel, which Daniel and I just did a weekend gig over in Charlotte, North Carolina with George Norrie. So that was really exciting. We had a great time there. But we come to find out that I was a hospice clinical social worker for several years and also helped many, many clients through the actual dying process, as well as their caregivers. So I totally relate to what Daniel says about that and his experience there. But I did want to just say that on Friday, my talk is about basically my book that I've written, The Secret That's Holding You Back, one of the bestsellers that I've written. It combines the understanding of not just spirituality and not just metaphysics, but also psychology, because it's really important to understand why so many people in the world that go to these functions, that go to the spiritual centers, that buy all of these books and get these affirmation cards, and they're still not manifesting the lives that they were promised that they could. And it's primarily because there's actually anomalies that go on in the human mind that block the ability to be able to truly manifest, because most people wind up not believing what they really think they believe. And that is the crust of my work, is getting through those blockages, because there is a protective element of the mind to help the survival of the species and help us cope. It actually blocks what we're really believing about ourselves. And why that's so important to understand is because we are not connected to that force, that law of attraction, whatever you want to call it. George Lucas called it the force, and it is connected in our unconscious minds, not our conscious minds. So it really is a little falsehood to say that thoughts manifest, because if thoughts actually manifest, in the moment you thought something, boom, instantaneously something would happen. By that right, half the world would be dead right now. The other half would be billionaires from winning the lottery so much, okay? So it can't be connected there. It's connected in the unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind accounts for 95 to 98% of your entire mind. So when you're walking around saying, oh, I know myself, I know what I'm thinking. No, you don't. Only 2 to 5% is what you're aware of. All the other stuff is going on underneath the surface. So all of those accumulated, I call them the I'm not. I'm not good enough. I'm not deserving. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. They're actually the influencing force that's connected to the law of attraction, and that's actually what's creating your life. But we don't know that, because we need the coping skills to be able to function daily. And so that's what the brain does, because the two highest functions of the brain is, one, to keep us alive, and two, to protect us in order to keep us alive. So we really can't walk around with those I'm nots, because we wouldn't be able to function. Those people who don't have that protective functioning working well are the ones that are walking around with major depressive disorders and anxiety disorders, because all day long, all they hear in their mind is, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, right? But the rest of us have these incredible coping skills. As a matter of fact, as a psychotherapist, I taught those coping skills. And we even use cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and all these different modalities just to allow people to function and mostly survive. But we've come to understand, everybody who's listening here, everybody who's going to this expo, we come to understand that we're more than just surviving beings, at least we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be thriving. And the only way you're going to thrive is by getting really deep down and getting rid of those scars, those injuries, those hurts, those maladaptive beliefs that are influencing that law of attraction. So that's what my talk is going to be about. It's actually going to be a condensed version of my book, The Secret That's Holding You Back, but it's extremely powerful. I just did this the exact same talk in Sedona back in March at the Sedona Ascension Retreat. And it was extremely powerful for people, because they come to realize things that they never thought of before. So if you are not manifesting what you truly want to manifest, and not everybody is manifesting everything they want, if you don't have abundance in love, if you don't have abundance in finance, if you don't have abundance, like Daniel and some others were talking about health, if you don't have that, if you don't have a rewarding, fulfilling job, it's because something is getting in the way, because that's the promise of who we are and what we're capable of achieving. So that's what my talk is going to be on Friday. Now, on Saturday, the workshop is going to be really exciting and magical, because I am going to teach you and actually take you on a full past life regression. We're going to do two different versions of it. The first one is to give you a taste of some of the past lives you had, to be able to see it. The second one is going to take you to a very important place, a place where there might be some blockage, some issue that you continuously deal with in this life, or what else may be getting in the way besides those protective mechanisms and defenses. That past life and seeing it can actually shed light and help you understand and change the things that you want. Every time I do a past life regression with people, they are amazed, especially those who have never been through a past life regression. You definitely want to experience it. Why is it so important? Can we just live this life here and pay attention and focus right on the here and now, just like so many people say? Yes, you can, okay, but you can only get so far. Remember something that's really important. We are an entire accumulation, not just of this lifetime, but of all your lifetimes. You have brought in with you in this one the things you want to experience. You created a plan for yourself, the dreams you truly want to attain in order to experience yourself, and then some of the tools and talents and gifts you had in those past lives, some of the knowledge you had in those past lives. And sometimes when we do that, we also bring in some extra things we don't want to take with us. Sometimes when we're trying to correct something, a karmic issue of some kind from a past life, not only can we replicate it, we can make it worse, or still not understand it or resolve it. And it becomes very frustrating. Yes, you're going to forget what those past lives are because you have a chance to kind of start clean. But in psychology, we actually, and psychologists understand this, but they don't understand where it's coming from. All they call it is nature versus nurture. So in other words, what psychologists believe is that, yes, you come in partially with a clean slate and partially with some predispositions. Well, we do come in with predispositions physically, right? Now, genetically, we may inherit some of the genes and some of the issues from our family members. We may choose to come in with some other predispositions in order to help us go through a learning process here that we are attempting to go through, okay? So in that way, we bring in things and set things up for ourselves. And yes, will we set up challenges for ourselves? Absolutely. Don't we do that here? I mean, how many of us always feel that we achieve more when we challenge ourselves, or when we're faced with a challenge? And you always hear this, I'm best under pressure. You know, when I have a deadline, I always do my best. Those are challenges. Or we always know in this New Thought, New Age movement that these challenges and these learning experiences help us to grow, help us to evolve. So we'll bring some of that in with us, right? Well, during this past life regression, you'll get to see possibly some of those things you brought in with you. And in actuality, every time you see something and you become aware of an issue, that is part of the healing process. Let's face it, when you go to the doctor, if you just walked into the office and you said, something's wrong. Well, what are you feeling? I don't know. I'm just feeling something. Something's off. You'd never get anywhere in the healing process, right? The doctor would have absolutely no idea where to go with treating it or healing it because you're not expressing what it really is. So the more clarity that you have on what needs to be healed, the better it is. And listen, we always hear this idea, and I'm actually writing it in a new book right now. It's called Stay Strong. All your scars can be healed. I'm almost done with it. And in it, I have a chapter about the idea of forgetting your past. You know what? It's easier to cut off an arm or a leg than it is to forget your past. What goes in here stays in here. You learn that in cognitive psychology, okay? And so, yes, it's nice to look forward, but sometimes if you're only looking forward, you keep seeing where you're not, rather than seeing how far you've come. So looking back definitely has its advantages. So looking back even further can have even more advantages. So I'm really excited about offering those two programs. So definitely come, definitely join me there. So Friday at 4 p.m., it's Become Unstoppable, What's Holding You Back. And the workshop is on Saturday, your past life regressions for newer understanding. So join me there. And Ken, I want to thank you for having me. And Scott, thank you for having me on the show. It's so great to meet you. I'm so envious of that long gray hair of yours. It's so gorgeous.
Silver, my friend. Silver.
Silver. I'm sorry. Yes, silver. I know. I got some of it underneath here too, so I know what you mean. Okay.
There you go. Hey, I wanted to also let people know you can find Vincent's book on Amazon, The Secret That's Holding You Back. And you also can get it as an audio CD. You can get it on Kindle. So whatever your preferred way to learn is, but Vincent obviously has a lot of wisdom to share.
Thank you.
Right there on Amazon, The Secret That's Holding You Back by Vincent Jenna. And Vincent, thank you so much for being with us. I'll look forward to meeting you in a couple of weeks at the Expo.
Same here. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually going to see several of my friends there when I get there. So I'm really excited about that too.
Fantastic.
Also, you can get it to sign his book, and you can buy it at the show too, but you can have it signed by him, wet signature. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, hey, listen, my signature is worth something, at least the cost of the book anyway. But, I used to be a professional singer, actor, and dancer. I didn't say that. That was my beginnings. I was in the movie Grease, my greatest claim to fame, right, as a dancer. So, yeah, so it has some value if you have. So I did for autographs back then, too.
Vincent, you're great. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for a little more music. And I'm really grateful that our beloved star child, formerly known as Fanny, and her partner Vigari are back with us. We love you two so much. And it looks like I took you a little bit by surprise. But are you guys about ready?
Yes, here we are.
Fantastic. Are you enjoying the show tonight, Vigari?
Yes, it is. It's quite a stimulating subjects to take in. Yeah.
Well, we love you and your music. And so it's great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Star Child, what would you like to share before you play?
Oh, I think it's so amazing to hear Sasha Stone and the deepness of his journey on this planet to try to awaken all of us and do his work. And Vincent, you are so funny, my friend. I wish I could fly and take the workshop to find who is in my past life and to understand more who I am. And I am here to play this beautiful song with my partner. And tonight is really special. I'm really honored to be here and be on the Global Peace Tribe. It's so much fun to hear all these great thinkers and these great avatars and teachers. Thank you. And this song is called
Breathe.
Breathe. So take a deep breath. Here we are, baby.
the heart. Now we rise in every nation. It's time to set things right.
Time to set things right.
We the people growing into a generation of light. Light. Breathe. There's a fresh wind blowing through. Breathe. Let the good light into you.
It's a celebration as we rise above. We be together in the arms of love. We are earth angels, spreading peace and love for the love of our soul. We shall rise in love, in love.
Breathe. There's a fresh wind blowing through. Breathe. Let the good light into you. There's a transformation going on around you. You can see the reflection of something that I'm feeling inside. It's a revelation. We the people together in the love revolution. For the sake of the world, yeah. Breathe, let the vision flowing through. Breathe, let the good light into you. Breathe, there's a fresh wind blowing through. Breathe, let the good light into you. Breathe.
Remember to breathe.
Let's go to gallery view for some beautiful twinkles for our beloveds, Starchild and Vigari. And you can get much more of them. You can kind of find them at their website, which is starchild.ca. Starchild.ca is in Canada. And that's where you can find them. They've got their phone number right there. And this is such a beautiful album. It's the one that I bought, Awaken 1111 by the Mystiques. You can find it on Bandcamp and at other places. So definitely go visit them. And they will be back on the show. At the very end of the show, we always enjoy having them put us to sleep. So they're going to do our kind of closing song. And it's just always great to have you guys with us.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to go to Ken because our next guest is someone that I haven't met before. So, Kenny, tell us all about Radley.
All right. Well, Radley Valentine. I think maybe something was Valentine's Day, which should be with a beautiful name like that. He's a best-selling author, a spiritual teacher, an angel expert. A lot of different characteristics this guy has. and he's free of fear-free approach to spirituality with over 35 years of experience. He inspires people to embrace hope, which we all need, connect with angels, which we all have, and manifest miracles. Bradley's work blends practicality and enhancement, empowering audiences worldwide live magical lives. He'll be speaking at his workshop on Saturday at 4:30 for an hour and a half. So really look forward to hearing you. And you haven't been in our shows before, but I've heard a lot about you from lots of different people. So it's just an honor and a great time to connect and hear what you have to say. Thank you for being part of our expo. Appreciate it.
I'm pleased to do it. I hate bios. It's
Yes.
like it's like I hate bios. It's like every time I want someone asks me for one, I'm like, geez. But yeah, I talk about angels. I try to take the fear out of things. Try to bring that light into people's lives. I've been very, very blessed. I'm actually a recovering certified public accountant. Yes, I did that for the first 20 years of my life. And then suddenly I decided I couldn't do that anymore. I'm grateful I did it. I love that I did it. I like that I have that side of my brain. But I've been talking to angels since I was 5 years old. And so when I decided to stop doing accounting, I just like, well, I want to do this other thing. And I got really lucky and came across Hay House. My publisher is Hay House, Louise Hay's company, which is now a part of Penguin Random House. And they signed me in 2012, and they've published me 14 times in 13 years. So I feel really blessed. And my favorite thing, one of the reasons why I'm excited to do your expo is that I love, love, love being there when people learn about the angels for the first time. That's what really, 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 really makes me excited. And to get to see the light in their eyes and to be a part of them experiencing the angels. And because, it's like everybody has guardian angels, everybody has at least two in my perception. Now, there's some people who say just one, and I have an answer for that. But people get really, really focused also on the archangels, because if you think about the archangels, it's like the superhero realm of the angelic realm. It's like, there's Michael, and that's this guy over here that this is my art. So it's like, so here we have Michael, and it's like he's the guy that's here to save the day. He's safety and protection and life purpose and these things that people really, really care about. And so people resonate with Michael because Michael is like this archangel that almost everybody's heard of. But then there's also Raphael and his emerald green light that's physical healing, but also a little bit of a matchmaker. And we've got Gabriel, who brings us communication and motivation and creativity, and Uriel, who's this archangel that brings us emotional healing and life transformation, and all of these exciting things that bring down this golden glitter light that helps people to be able to change and transform their lives. And so that's what I love is talking to people about the angels. This one right here, this is Archangel Haniel. Haniel, and what she brings to people is tuning into their intuition and their divine gifts and their ability to connect. And so she's a great archangel for when you're trying to make your connections with your angels for the first time. And so we have these archangels, and we as human beings, we love knowing that we're calling on the right people. We love expertise, so we love little rules. If your plumbing is broken, you want to call a plumber. If If you need something built, you want to call a carpenter. And so we like this stuff with the archangels because it's like, yeah, big stuff, bright colors, exciting. But then we forget about the guardian angels. We forget about these creatures who are dedicated to us and us alone and nobody else, just us. And the thing that people don't realize is that the guardian angels, they're like weaving in and out of lifetimes with us. And so it's like you don't remember perhaps your past lives because most of us don't. Because one of the things that happens when we're incarnated is Archangel Gabriel, who is also the archangel of the Annunciation, the archangel of birth, the archangel of coming into this lifetime. And this cleft right here, Archangel Gabriel is said to touch us there. And that's when we forget. We forget our past lives. We forget where we came from. We forget that we're children of the divine. And so, since we forget these past lives unless we go searching for them. And so, the thing about our guardian angels is that they don't forget because they're just following us lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And so we can work with our guardian angels. And are they going to spill the beans? Probably not. They're not going to probably tell you all the stuff that you don't remember, but they'll give you clues. They'll guide you. They'll tell you things like, oh, it's like when you're talking to your angels, they're like, well, maybe this is not the right path for you because you're chasing down something you've been doing lifetime after lifetime. In this lifetime, you came here and it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. Don't want to do it anymore. But you don't remember that. And so they won't say the reason that you're doing this is because you just keep picking the wrong person romantically lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. But they might say to you, what about this lifetime? What about the patterns that you're stuck in, the scenarios that you don't recall, the aspects of things that you're just on autopilot? And so our guardian angels are there for us all the time. One of the things that people are always asking me is they're always asking me, well, what are my guardian angels' names? And this is the funny thing. So each lifetime you're following a different path, right? It's like this path. I'm Radley Valentine. I'm Radley Valentine. I'm the guy that was, is part Cherokee and was raised in Tennessee and became a CPA and then threw all that away because it didn't fit him anymore. And this is who I am. So I've got these guardian angels and they have a certain element to them. They resonate with who I am this lifetime. But last lifetime, maybe I wasn't Radley Valentine. In fact, you can count on it. Maybe I was Queen Priscilla. I don't know. Maybe I was Cleopatra. Maybe lifetime before that, I was George Washington. But whatever I was in those past lifetimes, I guarantee you, my guardian angels did not show up for me the same way they're showing up for me now because they wouldn't have resonated to me. And so guardian angels, they change their names, they change their likenesses, they change their energy to match what we can take in. Because angels are showing up for us in ways in which we can experience them. So even though in this lifetime, maybe my archangels' names are Joshua and Daniel, but in last lifetime, maybe they were Victoria and Samantha, because they are showing up for us in ways that we can resonate. So when people come to me and they say, Radley, I want to know what my guardian angels' names are, I used to say no to that. And the reason I would say no was because me meeting my guardian angels for the first time was such a beautiful and magical and amazing experience for me that I want you to have it too. I didn't want to get in the way of that. And then back when I was on Hay House Radio, when there was a Hay House Radio, I had this woman call in and I still remember her. Her name was Donna. And Donna called in and said, hey, Radley, what are my guardian angels' names? And so I opened my mouth to say, oh, Donna, I don't do that, but I'll help you to do it. And my guardian angel, Joshua, basically came up behind me and went, "Tell her." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Just do it. Tell her." And so I did. And the way my angels explain this to me is that they really don't care what you call them. You can call them Joshua and Daniel. You can call them Victoria and Samantha. You can call them peanut butter and jelly. They don't care. What they care is that you talk to them. What they care about is that you let them in, that you let them experience your life with you, and to show you that you are loved, to show you that you are beautiful and magical and a child of the divine. And so, what the angels were telling me was like, "Look, Rad, it's like, it doesn't matter. Tell them what you get." Because if you tell them a name, because we as human beings name things. Have you noticed? We love naming things. We name our dogs. Of course we do. We name our plants. I name my cars, right? It's like my house has a name. Welcome to the house of Penelope. It's like I name everything. And so by giving people a name, by saying, "Oh, your archangels are Alexandra and Charles," people can tune into that. They will take it, and they trust me for whatever reason. They think, "Oh, Radley's special and he can talk to angels." Radley's no different than you are. It's just I'm tuned in to this and I've practiced it. And that's what I teach people, is to do the same. But if I tell people that these are your angels' names, then people they'll work on it. They'll go, "Okay, I have names. Now I can try. Now I can connect. Now I can go. Now that I know I can do something." And so my angels explained to me, it's like, just get over it, Rad. Just tell them their names. And so I did that on Hay House Radio. And I had like, oh, I don't know, 4,000 emails the next day going, "Give me the names." But the thing is, you don't need me to do it. You can do it yourself. You can tune in, right? You can tune in and get your own names. And the thing is you cannot get it wrong. You can't. It isn't possible. It simply isn't possible to get it wrong, because whatever names you get, stick with it. And here's the thing, don't judge it, right? Don't judge it. Instead, you know what? Just basically go, "These are the names I've gotten." And here's the other thing. Just because Radley says you have two, all right? It's like you start with one, right? Start with one. Because the thing that I have noticed is that there's always one guardian angel that's just a little bit louder, just a little bit more prominent, just a little bit there. I just got back from Tennessee, literally today, right? That's why my hair is like this. I just got back from Tennessee. I just got off the plane. And that's where I was born and raised, and that's where my family is. Well, my niece had twins, and they are the bomb. They're the coolest kids on planet Earth. She didn't just have them, they're 18 months old. My niece got married on Halloween and then had twins on Halloween. 2 years later. So it's a Halloween family. But these two kids are amazing. And the little girl, her name is Ansley, and she was born first by 7 whole minutes. But you'd think it was 7 years, because she is the extrovert. She's the one that's there. She's so beautiful. Both of them are strawberry blondes with bright blue eyes, simply gorgeous kids. And so, but she's just like, woof. Wyatt, he's the sensitive one. He's the quiet one. So if we take these twins and we think about guardian angels in that standpoint, and we think about one's a little bit louder and one's a little more sensitive. And what does that do? Well, the loud one is like your entryway, right? It's your entry in. It makes you go, "Oh, I can do this," right? I can absolutely connect this way. But then you start getting curious. You're like, but what about the other one? Brad says there's another one. Now what are you doing? Now you're working for it, right? And when you work for it, that's where the messages really start to connect, really start to empower us. When people say, and you know, it's like I know all the angel people. Well, I don't know all the angel people, but I know the angel people that are in my circles and stuff. I know Kyle Gray, and I adore him, and I know Diana Cooper, the grande dame of angels, and I know Laura Dern. I know these people, and it's like, you know, it's like we all kind of have our own twists. That's the magic of it, because the thing is that each one of us may be saying the same things, but the person that's going to hear the Radley message is not the same person that's going to hear the Kyle message. It's each of us have a different way of speaking. Each of us have a different thing. And so Laura is insistent that you only have one guardian angel, and that's fine. But think about this for a second. The divine is magical, amazing, powerful, incredible. And we as human beings put the divine in a box, a little bitty box. And it's a really small box. And it's a box that is very humanized. And so it's like, why do we do that? That is cray cray. Because the divine is amazing and magical and it's love and it's incredible. And so if we think about all these archangels, I started off by talking about archangels. I'm talking about the emerald light of Raphael, and the golden light of Uriel, and the copper colored light of Gabriel, and the sapphire blue that is Michael, and the silvery moon that is Haniel. Well, what if these are all messengers of God, right? Most of these angels' names end in EL. Do you know what EL means? Of God. Of God. So, what if each one of these is like the light of the divine hitting a prism? And what happens when light hits a prism? It breaks into all these colors, right? And so, what if Michael is just the element of the divine that is about safety and protection and life purpose? And Raphael is just that emerald green part of the prism that is about health and romance. And what if Haniel is the silvery color that is about our intuition? And so if you think about that, then when we think about the fact that people talk all the time about, it's like, oh my goodness, well, why do I need to talk to angels? I could just talk to the divine. You bet you can. You 100% can. But there's 8 billion people on the planet. And to say that any one way is the only way is cuckoo. It's crazy, because that doesn't make any sense at all. And so for some people, this light breaking into pieces makes the divine feel more accessible. It's like, oh, I can focus on this one aspect of the light. So now we go back to guardian angels. Well, what if there is only one guardian angel, but what if it's running through the same prism? What if the loud angel is just one element of your guardian angel and the softer is a different version? What if it's showing up for you as 3 energies? And isn't the whole conversation academic? Does it really matter? Do we as human beings have to analyze every last little thing? Or can't we just take some stuff on faith? Can't we just take some stuff on trust? Faith is the most powerful element of your spirituality. One of the things that I am so grateful for is that I'm quintuple Sagittarius. That's a lot of Sag. If you go to the Sagittarius headquarters, my picture is behind the main desk. I am the poster child for Sagittarius. All right. And the thing about Sag in that ninth house is one of the things about it is spirituality. Another thing is teaching. Another thing is travel. What do I do? All of those. But I think Sagittarius is the sign of faith. And so I have to remind myself all the time that it's like maybe faith doesn't come as easy for a lot of people. But the thing is that faith is like going to the gym. You practice it. You don't go to the gym and start leg pressing 700 pounds. You will hurt yourself. But you can go and leg press 25 pounds. And then you can go and leg press 50 pounds. And you can go and leg press 75 pounds. And faith is the same way. If you go to the faith gym and you work out those muscles, that's where the magic happens. That's where the angel voices come from. That's where you get that whole connection. That's the beauty of it. Angels are unconditional love. 100%. They will never judge you. They will never speak harshly to you. They will love you. They will guide you. They will take care of you. And other than my dogs, I don't know anybody else like that. Unconditional love, devoted to you, there for you. Why wouldn't you want to do that? So that's what I'm talking about at the expo.
What a pleasure to meet you. People are really delighted. There's a lot of comments in the chat box, so definitely take a look. Kathy writes, thank you, Radley. I love the information you just shared about angels. And Jerry Anderson wants me to give more time to each speaker. I know it's incredible. And Shoshana says, oh, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Shoshana's asking, what are some amazing gifts of the few of the archangels that you love sharing with people about the most?
Okay, so, oh gosh, now I want to like start dragging down pictures. Okay, so here is
Wow.
Raguel. This is Raguel. His name means the friend of God. And so this guy is this guy that brings people into your life. He can introduce you to all the best people. He can bring you to the people who, if you need people in your life, he's your guy. But he's also about justice. And he's also about healing relationships because Raguel brings harmony to relationships that are in discord. That's one of the things that he does. And so it's like he comes in this pale blue energy. And now I have to get another one because here's one that we need right now, real bad. Don't go away. Promise I'm not going far. I am just.
We're loving it. It's all good.
This is Shamuel. Shamuel. Shamuel is the archangel of personal and global peace. Who doesn't need that right now? When your life feels crazy, cray-cray, this is the guy that brings it back to you. Shamuel is also known for being the archangel of romantic relationships. He's said to bring those into our lives. Now, I see him as pale green, but there's a whole other system where he's pink. So I gave him this pink heart just to be acknowledging of this. But see, he's got these doves of peace around him, helping us to find that. I think of Shamuel as basically sort of being like the psychotherapist of the archangel realm. Right? He's the guy bringing you peace. Who doesn't want peace? But there's 15 archangels that I work with. This is just a couple of them. They all have amazing, powerful, incredible gifts that they bring to us. So, it's like people, it's like people said, give more time to the guests. It's like, hey, you'll get more time with us at the expo.
Here's
Right?
a question for you. It's a
Sure.
good Margie is asking, please explain why angels are depicted as human figures. Do they really have a human-looking form, or do they look different?
So angels neither have genders nor particular appearances. We are human beings. We absolutely connect to human beings and to the image of human beings. And so they show up for us in a way in which we can assimilate. If they were to show up to us looking like frogs, we wouldn't know what to do with that, right? It's like ribbit, ribbit, angel. No, we don't get that. And so human beings, if you really think about it, we're pretty arrogant, right? It's like, oh, we're made in God's image, blah, 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 blah. And then we turn around and try to make God in our image, vengeful, mean, judgmental, blah, blah, blah. It's not God. That's cray cray. But it's so they show up for us in ways in which we can see them. One of the most notable things from the standpoint of even gender is Gabriel. The church really likes all their archangels to be male. Really does. But that makes no sense. Why would Gabriel, the archangel of annunciation and birth announcements, be a guy? It's crazy. So to me, Gabriel shows up in feminine form. She's very beautiful, very powerful feminine energy. Four of the prominent archangels come in feminine energy.
My wife's name was Gabrielle.
Oh, I love
And
that.
so she said a lot about the actual true feminine nature of that. And of course, we do know that angels are not male or female.
They are not. They are
Um,
genderless.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
but as humans, we attribute it. Michael's safety, protection, we see him in armor and blah 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 because we think of safety and protection in a masculine form.
Right, right.
So,
Vincent, who just spoke before you, had an interesting comment. He writes, the reason we created angels with wings and looking like that is because if you outline their bodies and wings and create a silhouette of them, that is how our souls look in spirit form.
okay. I love that. I also kind of like it too because if you think about wings that are not outstretched, but like this, they're in a heart shape,
Yeah.
right? Um, but you know what? It's like I however you experience it, however you perceive it is not wrong. As long as you're not perceiving it as being harsh energy or mean or judgmental, because then that's the ego. That is not angels, that's your ego.
Right, right. Well, Radley, what a wonderful soul you are.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you do private readings for people?
From time to time, I release a batch a couple of times a year, but they're usually really small, and I usually do them within my membership group. But right now, the main thing that I'm focused on is that I am doing a cruise in October with Celebrate Your Life, who is putting the cruise together. And I'm doing it with my spiritual BFF, Dougal Frazier. And so we're calling it Angels and Auras at Sea. I actually sent you a private message about it, Scott, with a link for it. But that's happening in October. It's a Caribbean cruise. It's my first time. Dougal's done 14 cruises. I'm a total virgin. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, and so then he told me I had to dress like a pirate, and I'm like looking for clothes and an eye patch. So it's like whatever. But it's going to be amazing. It's an amazing cruise. But while we're at sea, I'm teaching about angels, and Dougal is teaching about auras. And what we have discovered, which was sort of like him getting chocolate on my peanut butter and me getting peanut butter on his chocolate, is that there's a link between aura colors and the colors that the angels come in.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now I have your website here. So that, and I've put this in the chat box. Now, is there a place on the website where we can find what you're referencing?
Yeah. Let's see. I think I have it right here. Here's this stuff, and I am popping over to finding you again because I lost you. Where did you go? Oh, you're right here. And I go to chat and I click here. Oh, this is so fun. There we go. So there it is.
Yeah, so on your website, because I looked under events, but
Mhm.
just it doesn't show. Oh, here
There
it
it
is.
is.
Here's the career. Here
There
it
it
is.
is.
I got confused because at the top it said stay tuned. So I got confused.
Oh, you know what? Don't even get me started on updating websites. Oh my God.
Well, your cruise looks like a lot of fun. So that's October 20th to the 26th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and where does it where do you sail out of
we
and
are sailing out of Fort Lauderdale and we are going to Cozumel. We are going to Bimini in the Bahamas. We are
nice.
going to Georgetown in the Grand Caymans and then working our way back to Fort Lauderdale.
Beautiful. Well, Radley, people take a look at all the wonderful things in the in the chat box, all the people loving you and appreciate
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to go from you talking about angels to an earth angel. Her name is Astra Fox, and she is
She is an earth
clearly
angel. That's true.
angel here from the higher realms to help raise our vibration through her consciousness and her music.
Thank you. So, we all have free will. And as a coach, I deeply believe that we all have our own wisdom within us. However, this song, I get a little bossy. It's called Do It Now. How does the light move through you? What is the shining star that lights you? If you could write a song, would you sing that song all day long? If you could write a book, would you write that book as long as it took? If you know what makes your heart sing and the muse that pulls your heartstrings, do it now. If you could sail a ship, would you set out on a worldwide trip? If you could fly a plane, would the sky become your new domain? If you know what makes your heart sing and the muse that pulls your heartstrings, do it now. If you dream it's possible, you will be unstoppable. If you could be more kind, would you feel peace of mind? If you had a skip in your step, would you feel truly blessed? If you know what makes your heart sing and the muse that pulls your heartstrings, do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. If you know what makes your heart sing and the muse that pulls your heartstrings and the gift that lights your shining, do it now. 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 do it now.
Ah, what a beautiful song. Let's all go to gallery view and give her some twinkles and appreciation.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm twinkling right back at you.
Astra, thank you so much. And remind us one more time, when are you going to be playing at the Expo?
On Saturday, May 10th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So come say hi and sing some songs with me. We'll be doing some songs we can sing together and then some that I'll perform with you as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. And again, remember her website is purposelifecoaching.com, purposelifecoaching.com. And I'm actually trying to go back to it because I do want
It's
to.
joyfulpurposecoaching.com.
Joyful. Well, boy, I apologize. No wonder it wasn't coming up properly. Joyful Purpose Coaching. Where did I get the other one? All right, hang on. Here we go. All right. And tell us a little bit more about your coaching work. Who are the demographic groups that you like to work with, and what's your specialty?
Thank you so much. I am passionate about working with people who have a gift that they want to bring into the world. So, being a singer, a performer, a creative myself, I've spent much of my life kind not feeling empowered about sharing my gifts or feeling worthy of sharing my gifts. And so I'm really passionate now that I've worked through a lot of those blocks to support others in bringing their gifts to life. So what is their joyful purpose? What is the unique gift that the world is waiting for you to share? And so sometimes that looks like the traditional arts, and other times it's just having maybe a gardening practice or something else that, of course, is just completely unique to you. So I love working with artists, creatives, multi-passionate individuals who are feeling stuck and are ready to expand their creative expression.
Wow, beautiful. Well, if you go to joyfulpurposecoaching.com, that's where you can learn all about and find out wonderful testimonials there, of course. And you can, is it best for people to contact you which way? How do you like for
So
them?
they can contact me there on that contact form if you just want to say hello or send a message. If you'd like to learn more about working with me one-on-one or my other offerings, I offer a blind spot awareness session. And so this is an opportunity to look at where you are, where you want to be, and uncovering and bringing awareness to what may be in the way. I also call myself a mindset alchemist because I'm really passionate about working with the subconscious mind. So, in addition to NLP tools and coaching, I also use music to help rewire the neural pathways. So, the positive songs that we sing have a really huge effect on the narrative that we tell ourselves and what we create in the world. So, one of my favorite offers that is just so much fun is a musical mantra session. And
Wow.
in that session, we assess, okay, what are the blocks? What are the subconscious patterns that need to be rewritten? I coach you through those blocks and help you help you create an empowering belief about yourself or the situation you want to shift. And then I leave that session. I take all of the information from that session. I get with your guides and mine, and I channel you a custom song called a musical mantra that you can use as a spiritual practice to help empower yourself, maintain the shift from the coaching session, and also rewire the neural pathways in your brain to empower you for your dreams.
Wow, that's a lot of beautiful, beautiful offerings. And I love that your vulnerability, that, part of your life's journey was trusting your gifts and opening up to your gifts. Kind of similar to what we heard from Radley, going from being a CPA to helping people learn about angels. So you both are wonderful models for really following our passion.
Thank you. I believe in a world where more of us are expressing our gifts and sharing our passions. I think the world, and that's dying away now, has really stifled people's creativities and creative expression, and the world will be a more harmonious place where more of us are living our dreams. So let's create it together.
There's really a theme that's emerging, and that is what the New Living Expo is all about. Sasha, even though it was a little intense, he talked about the big picture of how we've been enslaved and shamed and shut down. And then you and Radley are examples of people, and Vincent, who are helping us to awaken to who we truly are in a beautiful way. So, and the maestro. Ken is the guy who brings all of you together in such a wonderful, wonderful way.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Astra.
Thank you, Ken.
Well,
That's
Ken, we're
great.
happy that Kelly has showed up. So I'm going to let you introduce our next guest.
Yeah. Well, talking about dreams, I mean, there's nobody better that I know, can deal more with dreams and how to create your life and your desires. So Kelly Walden Sullivan is just a dream, I would say a dream expert. Lucia's book, Dream Manifestation, and she's a little bit of a bio, not too much, but she began her dream career as a little girl with a series of 10 dreams she shared with her younger sister. These days, the best-selling author of 10 books and 7 oracle cards, is a popular media guest, podcaster known as Dr. Dream. Her latest award-winning book is The Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, and her next book, Dream Vesting, comes out in September. It looks like it's right there on the back. So, Kelly, thank you for joining us. And we'll listen to what you have to say about dreaming. We're all so interesting because we all dream. Hopefully, we remember them a little bit in the middle of the night. Sometimes, one thing I do in my dreams, which I think is so special, is I fly. And I
Oh,
end up
wow.
flying around my neighborhood where I grew up. And I soar, and sometimes, very rare occasion, I can be aware that I'm dreaming and flying, and I want to stay in that dream because it just feels so good. So maybe,
Wow. Oh,
it
that's
just
a good place to start. That's a good launching off
it's a
place.
launcher, huh? How about that? So
Yeah, it
take it away,
is.
Kelly.
Oh
Thank you.
God. I always like to say when I comment on somebody's dream, I start it with if it were my dream because I never want to take anybody's power away, but I imagine that I'm in the dream, and if it was mine and I'm flying around my neighborhood where I grew up, I would imagine that the dream is giving me a higher view on what happened back then and who I was back then and the coming of age and all the angst that comes from being a young, sensitive soul in a prickly world. And the dream is probably saying, you know what, you're more than all of that, and there's a higher perspective, and sometimes we have to earn our wings. They don't just get handed to us like the caterpillar. We go through a process to get to that higher place. So I think a dream of flight. In fact, in my book Dreamifesting, that's the primary metaphor that I use. It's like how our dreams are trying to help us lift up and go beyond, go to the 2.0 of what we're capable of. So I'll be talking about some of that at the New
Hey,
Living Expo. But thanks for opening up with one of your dreams. So, what else do you want to know? It's so good to be with you guys. Thank you for having me. And I was in my dream world and didn't even realize it was tonight. I thought it was part of the expo. So, I don't live inside time. Sometimes I have to just kind of drop in and grab a hold, but it's great to
Well,
be.
Kelly, since this is your first time on the show, please introduce yourself to our audience. Tell our audience about a little bit about you, your background, and your offerings.
Oh my goodness. Well, hello, everybody. I'm so honored. I've heard such wonderful things about this community and all that you've done to cultivate it, Scott. So thank you. I feel so, so honored. Yeah, my bio is I'm Dr. Dream, but I didn't start off that way. Mostly, um, I think Astra was talking about how she found sort of the launching pad for her calling, similar to mine. I came in dreaming very vividly because of my connection with my younger sister. So, but I took that for granted, which I think a lot of us take for granted the gifts that we're kind of born with. We're like, that's no big deal. That's just what I got. But I had to, it's like that Joni Mitchell song, Don't It Always Seem to Go, that you don't know what you got till it's gone. In my 20s, I turned toward Hollywood, was pursuing a career in acting. I had some really wonderful parts, got to work with Clint Eastwood, Forrest Whitaker, Nicolas Cage. But for every part I got, there was about 100 or more that I didn't get. And at some point, by the time I was like 24, I wanted to exit the planet. I felt so broken. I had turned my gaze outward. I had become a completely external being. My inner life, I hadn't watered that garden in years, so I was barren internally, and the world outside had kind of dried up. And I didn't exit the planet, but I did enter a therapist's office, which was the blessing that I didn't even know was there. And as I started doing therapy, I started to get my dreams back. They started coming back with fangs, literally wolves chasing me. One wolf, then two, then three, then a pack, then thousands of them. And finally, my therapist told me that a nightmare is an unfinished dream. And those words it's like sometimes we just hear something that flips everything around for us. That was so empowering. A nightmare is an unfinished dream. That means that I'm the director of my dreams. I can do something about my dreams. So I started to rearrange the way I worked with my memory of the dream. And it turns out that there's this very fancy kind of technique in psychology called imagery rehearsal therapy, that is where you technically and you work with dreams and you can change them and actually change your reality. So that started to happen to me. I started to work with my dreams in a very conscious, lucid way, and I started to feel better. I started to change. Instead of not wanting to be on the planet, I started to feel my mojo back, my confidence. I became a hypnotherapist and started working with clients and started to have something to give. I wrote a book that turned into the next, and now I've written my 11th book, and God knows, dreams, they've changed my life. And they when I work with clients and their dreams, or groups or workshops with their dreams, I see the power that we're all hoping to find in a guru or in someone outside ourselves. It's all in here, and we're sleeping on it. There was a marketing person I talked to years ago, and he said, we're always looking for that thing, that magic pill, that thing that if we could just take the pill and sleep and wake up the morning and be different, then we would pay $1 million for that thing. Well, we have it already. We sleep on it every night. This great wisdom, this genius that is who we truly are, our higher selves. It's whispering sweet somethings to us every night. And if we're wise, we pay attention and we notice that things change for the better. Sometimes we can manifest and create, or dreamifest, as I like to say, wonderful relationships and health and circumstances beyond even our wildest dreams.
There's some wonderful questions that have come in. Margie is asking, Kelly, some people propose that when we are dreaming, we are going to other realms where our soul has other responsibilities. Well, I would add maybe our multidimensional self. What do you think of that concept? And have you experienced it that way?
Well, it's very interesting. There's an article that just came out today that talked about lucid dreaming. I don't know if you've seen this, and I just barely looked at it before talking to you tonight, but they were saying that lucid dreaming, so that's not exactly Marjorie's question, but it's related. It's neither conscious nor unconscious. It's a different state of consciousness entirely. So who we are when we're dreaming, I think it's all related to lucid dreaming. When we're dreaming, we're a different self. There's an entire body of work that's really Dr. David Jenkins kind of coined this. He said, to get to know your dreaming self. Who are you when you're dreaming? There's a primary archetype that we embody, either the one that's flying, the one that's fighting, the one that's making love, the one that's winning the lottery. So who is that? And how, if we can allow that dreaming character that we are to communicate with our waking self, kind of like couples therapy, have our waking self communicate with our dreaming character and bring those two together, we could solve our problems. We could shift our consciousness. So I don't even know if I began to answer Marjorie's question, but it takes us to another realm. And it's not another realm, it's a realm within ourselves. It's like a room in our house that we didn't even know we had. And it's full of treasures. That's what happens when we're dreaming.
Okay. Another question. Dr. Laura wants to know, and Susan asked a similar thing. Susan's asking, can you help us remember our dreams?
Yes.
Dr. Laura's asking, how do we remember our dreams more? So those two.
Yes. Well, first of all, it's common to not remember dreams. As kids, we all, the veil between worlds is thin, so it's a lot easier. We all kind of live in that dream realm. As adults, it's the easiest thing in the world to do, to not remember dreams. So there's nothing wrong with somebody for not remembering. However, if we want to start remembering them so that we can work with them, because remembering them, it's kind of like having the ticket to the party. You can't enter the party without the ticket. We all want to be in that party. So here's a couple of really simple techniques. One is, obviously, this is the core of dream manifesting. Set a strong intent before you go to sleep. And sleep, have your dreams. And as soon as you wake up in the morning, the very first thing, before you roll over, before you check your phone, before you even go to the bathroom, stay in bed if you can for a few minutes, just remembering that last thing you were either dreaming about. If you can't remember that, what you were thinking about, because we're always thinking something. Unless you're an amazing Zen Buddhist and you're like super, super enlightened, there's never going to be a moment when there's not a thought. So if you can't remember a dream, at least there's a thought. And often that thought is tethered to the dream. So write something down first thing in the morning. And if you do that for a week, this has been my experience with people that haven't remembered a dream in forever. If you get in the habit of writing down at least your first thoughts in the morning, then you will tend to start going, oh my God, that is tethered to that dream. And then it'll start to come. So I hope that helps.
Very, very helpful. Absolutely. And a dream coming, a dream question coming in from
It's all a
Facebook.
dream. We're dreaming now.
Somebody wanted to follow up on, what are your thoughts about multidimensional reality and accessing them through our dreams or through lucid dreaming?
Oh yeah. So, well, what are my thoughts about multidimensional reality? Yes. Yes and yes. So wow. Our dreams are, it's an interesting phenomenon, because the moment we start talking about dreams, it's almost like the very next conversation we have is about what happens when we die, or what happens in near-death experiences. And so I've had a lot of dreams, and I actually did have a near-death experience. And in my near-death experience, I was aware, while I was on the other side and aware of it, how similar it was to dreams, and what I was capable of in this out-of-body near-death experience was beyond what I had been able to do lucidly in a dream. I don't consider myself a lucid dreamer, although I've had a handful of them, and I love it when it happens, but I don't go out of my way to have them. They just happen sometimes. But I noticed when I was on the other side how similar it was to dreams, and how, if we have an intent, for example, right now, let's practice this. This is a great way to practice this. We're always dreaming, so that means we're dreaming right now. And one thing that we can do to be a little bit more lucid in our life and in our dreams is to stop and ask ourselves from time to time, and we can do it right now. We can yell out to the dream maker, what do you want me to know right now?
Mm-hmm.
So in this moment, the dream maker is here with us. And for each of us, if we were to just write down a single word, I'm going to just give everybody that assignment, a word or two or three, and even or just a symbol. There's something the dream maker is wanting you to know right now. So if we were truly lucid, I think we would ask that question probably every few minutes or so. What do you want me to know now? What about now? What about now? What about now? And we would follow those breadcrumbs. And inevitably, if we did that, when I do that, I notice that the synchronicities start popping. The people, like I don't even have to make a phone call. The people I need to talk to just show up. So there's really multi-dimensional living. I like the idea that it's all happening simultaneously, and kind of like what Einstein said, past, present, future. It's all happening. It's all simultaneous. It's all here. It's really just about where we're located. A dear friend of mine who was a therapist said that if we could consolidate every single problem on the planet, it's hard for me to say absolutes like that, but I'm going to say it just for for drill. Every problem is a function of being overly concrete. In other words, giving too much credence to our logic, our rational thinking. And every single solution is a result of allowing ourselves to think in a more abstract way, in a more symbolic way. So the moment we start thinking symbolically, we start feeling a little bit lighter. There's a portal that opens in our consciousness, and that's where the solutions begin to reside, begin to start flowing in, and the shift starts to happen in that way. So we can start simply by decoding a dream, like Ken's that he so generously shared. Thank you so much, Ken, for sharing about that flying. Most of us have had some form of a flying dream. Just in thinking about that, what does it mean to me? What does that feel like? Boom, now we're in the abstract. Now we're outside of the logical, the liminal, the rational. And suddenly we're in a space where what we were looking for, oh, it's here already. Oh, wait, heaven isn't down the line. It's here. All the solutions, it's all here. So I could go off on a tangent on that one, but I love this work because I feel like it just cracks us open to an intelligence and a genius and a wisdom that is ours. It's like our own. We're all trust fund babies. We all have this trust account, that makes us rich internally, energetically, and that can sometimes ripple out into a much more pleasurable outer life as well.
Beautiful. When you talk about the dream maker, would that be higher self, God's self?
Yes. Yeah, I would say, it's whatever we want to call it. We all have our own sense of what's happening here, what's dreaming us, what we pray to. So the dream maker is one way that I like to think of it. And perhaps it's all within us. Ultimately, one thing I love about dream work, and here's a little sneaky trick for interpreting dreams, it's to look at your dream from the perspective that everything and everyone in the dream is an aspect of self.
Mm-hmm.
So who is the dream maker? Maybe it's ourself. Maybe it's our highest self. Maybe it's our most cosmic, awakened, light-filled, I could have had a V8 self.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, there's definitely other questions, but we've got to get to John Gray.
Yes, we do.
And I know we say,
God, we do.
John, because we love John so much, and he always has so much to share. But I want to take people to your website, and it's her name, Kelly, Kelly, Sullivan, Walden.com. Kelly Sullivan Walden.com.
And if that's too hard to spell, you can also go to IHadTheStrangestDream.com and it'll take you to the very same place.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great. And there's a lot of good things on your website. So Kelly, thank you so much. And if you get a chance, take a look, because there's some other questions that we don't have time to get to that are in the chat box that maybe
come see me at the New Living Expo and you can ask me all those questions. I won't leave until everybody's question has been answered and then some.
That's the whole point. We're all going to meet at the New Living Expo. So.
Yes, come see me.
All right. Thank you, Kelly, for being with us. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Sweet dreams.
All right. We are going to get to John Gray in a moment, but it is time for another Omashar tune, and not just any tune. We're about to experience a world premiere of sorts. So it's my honor to turn it over to my co-pilot, our beloved Omashar.
Yes, indeed, a world premiere. And Kelly, that was wonderful. Really, just your presence was a balm to my heart. I don't know why, but it was, and it is. So thank you so much. And and this song, I played a beta version a few weeks ago, and this is one song. It took me almost 48 hours to write, to complete, and to record. But it's it's an EDM song. Look that up, and it's called "Dancing into Greatness." And so it's best to be listened to on headphones or a nice sound system. So all of our dancers in the audience, please get up and be ready, because it rocks in. And Astra, nice. Is that your son? Beautiful. Hello.
This is
Hey,
Casper.
Casper. Hey, Casper.
He's
Okay,
got a
Casper,
celestial paint vein on. This song's for you, bud.
This song's for you, bud. So you ready? Everybody standing. And here we theoretically, just checking, go. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
This world of ours, we're here to thrive together, making sure that nobody gets left behind. As the light of truth clears all the stormy weather, and the mother in us all begins to rise. Through a heart of hearts, we start to know our greatness. As our strength returns, our spirit guides us through. Our eyes behold the rising of the phoenix, and the dance of life begins to birth anew. For the world to change, we need to love each other. What we feel affects the scene we see out there. Look around, forgive your sisters and your brothers. For us all, the time is now to build anew. Through a heart of hearts, we start to know our greatness. As our strength returns, our spirit guides us through. Our eyes behold the rising of the phoenix, and the dance of life begins to birth anew. Through a heart of hearts, our start to know our greatness. As our strength returns, our spirit guides us through. Our eyes behold the rising of the phoenix, and the dance of life begins to birth anew.
Wow. Big gallery view, big twinkles for this brand new song. Oh, Mashara, that is awesome. Dr. Laura writes that even though she had her camera off, she wanted you to know that she was dancing up a storm.
Thank you. Like, I tell you, I was dreaming about that song. It's funny. That song is 5 minutes and 33 seconds, and literally almost 48 hours it took me to get it to that point. And so
Wow.
2 weeks, one song. However, I loved it. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's a wonderful gift for us. Now, question, can people find where's the best place for people to find the
Oh,
song?
that's right. I haven't posted it yet. I've just put in your chat, Scott. I'll put it in the other chat, my
Okay.
YouTube channel. But I'm gonna before I post it on YouTube and give it away for free, like I do all my stuff, I'm gonna make a video for it.
That sounds familiar. I bet I was going to your channel and that's what came up. So,
Ah,
so a great thing to everybody, if you don't already have it, go to YouTube and just put in Omashar Music, and that's his channel. And there's all sorts of amazing, beautiful things there. And I'm assuming that we will see this song up here at some point.
as soon as I have my a video for it, it'll go up on Spotify in a week or two, and also Bandcamp. However, I like to introduce my songs with videos because it seems to be the now thing. People don't buy CDs anymore. Everybody just gets everything for free. So why not make it free and awesome? So there we are. Thank you. And
Beautiful. Well,
looking
take a look
forward
at all
to.
the comments in the chat box. People are
Thank you
loving
so
it.
much. I'm looking forward to my brother John coming up in a moment. So yay.
That's right. Well, we definitely John being the celebrity that he is, and he's on the front of the page of the New Living Expo guide. He's one of our favorite people that's been on this show many, many times. And you know, when he was on with one of the Soul Search times, I think it was John. I don't remember the exact statistic, but something about you sold more books in the 70s and 80s than any other author. Did I get that one correct?
I'm not that old.
In
In the 90s,
the
When
90s. In the
Men Are From
90s.
Mars was the biggest selling book in the world for that decade and was considered one of the most influential books of the last quarter century. Um, it got a lot of recognition, a lot of awards. However, it still continues to be a bestseller for
Amazing.
35 years. You know, I've got so many more books on top of it, but it outsells them all. Okay, it's a
And I apologize for saying 70s. You know what's in my brain is last night I went to see the band Styx. They were playing in Sacramento, and they came out in 1974 is when they started. And I listened to them all in the 70s and 80s. There they are, and these guys are pushing 80, and they're still playing rock and roll and sounding great. So that's where my head was 70s and 80s. But thank you, it's 90s.
Well, in the 70s, I was a celibate monk for 9 years. So that was an important time in my life as well. I missed a lot of that. But I had the 60s of rock and roll. And that was fun.
Yeah.
I got high on all that. And then when I crashed, I thought, okay, I needed to find a way to be high without all that. And the Beatles said, you can go be with the Maharishi. So I took off. I spent 9 years with him. I was his personal assistant. I was his number one student. I was on all his posters. I taught over 15,000 teachers of TM, all in the decade of this. Well, that was uh, in the 70s. It was quite a wonderful time for me. But today is the most wonderful time for me. So it just gets better and better and better.
Well, tell us all about what you're doing today. Ken, is there anything you want to add as an introduction?
Well, you know, John's got a couple new books. He's just earlier said he just finished writing um how to tell how to talk so a man will listen. Boy, I sure need to, have my wife listen to
Read
that one.
that.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be a good one. And being happy with or without a man. It's like, wait a minute, I want to be happy with a man. But being self-care is all about it. And John's been a personal friend of mine for 30 plus years and been featured at the expo for probably about the same amount of time. It's been just an honor and a privilege to be your friend and be your expo producer for bringing you into the show. And always a big hit for the show. And you always got more words of wisdom. And many times we have to turn off the microphone to stop you talking, but because you've got so much knowledge and inspiration and wisdom that we want to hear it more. And so you can't get enough of John, that's for sure. So that's what I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Ken. It's always a pleasure to be a part of your life and all the wonderful things you do for people. And I do want to thank you, Astra. It was so beautiful, and Scott, to be here. I always appreciate being here. Vincent, I look forward to hearing more of your amazing ideas about removing blocks in our life. And Omashar, thank you for all your beautiful, beautiful music. It's been quite a nice evening for me. I always enjoy these evenings very much. And forget his name, the first speaker. Wow, I wish he had been here on. He was amazing.
That was Sasha.
Yeah, he was really quite amazing. I look forward to hearing him at the event. For me, he speaks. I'm very resonant with what he's talking about. I'm very a God-centered person. Meditate every day for 50 years, 1 to 5 hours. Okay, so I love it. Right now, I don't meditate 5 hours. I'll just do an hour. When I write, I'm meditating, and I actually have 3 books coming out because it's like I can't stop talking when I give talks. I'm writing this book, and then suddenly another book pops out, and another book pops out, and I haven't written a book in 6 years after my wife died. It was a devastating loss for me. Such deep pain. She's such a big part of my life and such a big part of all my books. And I could have never written my classic book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, without her. She's at every page. And as I write my own books, tears come up because I learned so much in my relationship with her. And I think that's why my books sell so well, is they're just very grounded, they're authentic. For a spiritual person trying to have a relationship in this material world, I had a lot of challenges. But these are the blocks that Vincent talks about, is how you move forward. After I left being a monk, I came out to California in faith and didn't know what was going to happen, and nobody met me. And I ended up being homeless on the beaches in Santa Monica. So it was a hard time. And I remember preaching to the homeless people until one night, and it was scary too. It was, but full of faith and love and God and all that good stuff. To me, everything was God. I mean, I was a little crazy. I'm more grounded now, but on one level of consciousness, we're all one. We're all love. We're all made out of the same particles, and you feel one with everything. And I'm sitting around with a bunch of homeless people who many of them were out of mental hospitals, and it was a little dangerous. But I felt I was doing God's work and inspiring them. And I'd sit around the campfire and on the beach, and they would listen. And then one night, one of them said, have a beer, John. And I don't drink, and I didn't drink then. And they said, you should have some fun too. We love to listen to you talk. We have no idea what you're talking about. And that was a moment of transformation for me. I loved how don't let a crisis go to waste that Kelly was saying. And thank you, Kelly. Beautiful presentation on dreams. The suffering I was feeling was noble, feeling I was helping the poor. And then I realized that we're all here to do our particular mission. And that clearly wasn't my mission. And that was an important moment for me in my life, because I realized you can't do everything. You have to find out what you're here to do and do that. So that kind of helped me focus in on what I'm here to do. I mean, I could easily be teaching meditation, but other people do that. Although I do mention, I do have a wonderful form of meditation I do. It's John Gray, Radiant Mind Meditation, for those that are interested, but I just have it on YouTube. But it's the relationship stuff which is so needed today. And what he was saying is how knowing that God exists, goodness exists, you have to also know that evil exists. You can't have one without the other. And I think that as we are able to heal within the evil within ourselves, that then suddenly you can have a better world outside as well. Because you can have that polarity of knowing your shadow self and transforming it into love, forgiveness. You can't have forgiveness unless you recognize that there was betrayal. So life is a journey of integrating these two things. And on a bigger scale, when we talk about the angels, and the angel man was talking so beautifully, and well, there's good angels and there's fallen angels, and they're very real. And one of their agendas is to destroy the family unit. The family unit is so, so critical in the world, and it's falling apart in the Western world. Something had evolved, which is the importance of family life, the family unit, soulmates. It evolved to where the importance of monogamy was honored. The idea that a man would dedicate his life to one woman is an evolution of many, many styles of relationship in the past. And what I talk about today is things that are not just my ideas, but they're my ideas and my experience of helping people, but they're also based in biology. So when you have these debates with people, or people have these debates about are men and women that different? Well, the reality is, of course, we're so similar. We all have noses and eyes and mouths and tongues and hands and all, all these big things. And sometimes people, well, it's just that we have a few sexual parts that are different. Well, the big difference between men and women is that women can make a baby. Men cannot. Men help out, we provide the help, but women make the baby. And in certain cultures, that women were worshipped because of that, because they're closest to God. I know in the Hindu religion, they talk about importance of loving God, it's importance of loving your family, it's important of loving your father, it's a big deal, but loving your mother is 100 times more important. Because when you love your mother, she gave you birth. And when you can be as a child and feel the child love for your mother, that you can't even imagine how sweet and beautiful that is as adults, because we forget it all. But we adored our mothers. We were enraptured by our mothers. And when you love your mother, you connect to your source. That's when we were closest to God, so to speak, coming into this physical manifestation. And then there's loving our fathers as well, which is, as a man, has been very, very important to me, which is to realize that all of the suffering that my dad went through, I have gone through it myself. It's amazing how the patterns of our parents emerge into our lives. And by understanding their suffering and my mother's suffering, although she didn't suffer much, but my dad's suffering, I was able to feel so much love from my father. My mother, I was blessed to have a very spiritual mother. She started the Aquarian Age bookshelf in Houston, Texas, at the same time when the Bodhi Tree bookstore started in California. You remember that, Scott? Yeah. Bodhi Tree was the first esoteric bookstore.
On Melrose Avenue.
Was that?
On Melrose in West Hollywood.
That's right. That's right. And, it was a time where we were all exploding into New Age ideas. It was a New Age bookstore. It had all the esoteric books of all the traditions. Well, it turned out my mother's library was that bookstore. She ordered the same year that opened, coincidentally, in Houston, Texas. She bought a house and just put her library in the house and made it free lending library for everybody. It became the biggest esoteric bookstore in the country, even bigger than the Bodhi Tree. Okay, had all the same books and more. My mother and father were both rather esoteric people. I was doing yoga since 3 years old, meditating as a little child, not knowing that's what it was. Not until later when I understood what going into a meditative state is. So I had that foundation, and I had a middle-class positive experience of childhood. And I became a counselor just because how do people have so many problems? I couldn't understand it. And then I had to get in a relationship and see all the problems that come up. As a man, you're trying to understand a woman, and she's trying to understand you. And so many people, they can't handle it. They don't know how to make it work. So I was able to make it work, and I shared those ideas. And now in my later books, I'll talk briefly about them. Of course, that's all in Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I was given a talk on these books I'm going to talk about right now. And there are 3 books written to women, not to men. The reason I write it just to women is so often women will read my books and think, oh, it would only work if my husband reads this book. And it's not true. It's not true. And men will say to me, well, what of us guys? What do we read? Just read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. That's all you need to know. That's all men need to know. Women rule relationships. Women are the source of relationships. Women are the source of love. Men can only feel love primarily through women and through their mothers. And if your mother couldn't feel love, you're very blocked. But if you open your heart to a woman, she can help take you to a place of love that you can't even imagine. But she has to know how to do that too. You have to have your knowledge, you have to have her knowledge. But without a man knowing anything, a woman can bring out the best in a man. She can learn to communicate to him. So that's one of the book titles is coming out very soon, called How to Talk to a Man So That He'll Listen. When you learn how to talk to a man so he listens, what happens is he feels compassion for you. This is measurable in the brain. We have in our brain, what inspired me to write all these books is, first of all, I had to heal from the loss of my wife, and I'm there. I feel a huge loss still, but it's just sweet love. It doesn't hurt. It's not painful. That's part of healing loss. Is you never lose it. I mean, but you move on, but it's not painful anymore. It's actually opened my heart even more. I'm now remarried, and my wife asked me at one point, she says, well, do you love Bonnie more than you love me? That's a real female trick question, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I just told my truth. I just said, sweetheart, losing Bonnie was the greatest loss in my life. You know, I've had so many, many losses in my life. And for somebody who don't know, my dad was robbed and found dead in the trunk of his car. My mother died from medical malpractice. My younger brother committed suicide. One of my brothers had a heart attack having sex. He loved my book on sex. But you know, Bonnie and I, we got married. Her brother died in a car accident where somebody hit him head on. We seemed to have a funeral every year, you know, we would go to, and that's just some of it. I've experienced loss, but with loss, you have the opportunity to stay stuck, or you have the opportunity to heal your heart and become more loving. You know, as a writer, you become very obvious when you're writing books. You know, you're looking at your work sometimes, depending on your mood, you're going, this is not any good. Just like, this is terrible. You know, you battle with the words, you know, you want it to flow so clearly, and it doesn't always flow so clearly. And thank you, Star Child. I loved your music. But occasionally, even today, it happened with this book I'm writing, which you think your computers are invincible these days. But when a computer will crash, or you'll lose material, it's terrible. And sometimes that would happen. And that very chapter I was working on that I thought was no good, I was thinking about getting rid of it. If I lose it, I go, oh my God, I could never replace that. That's the best thing I ever wrote. Best thing. Oh, how can I do that again? I can't get it back. I can't get it back. Well, that's what happens when we lose things, is that we take things so much for granted in our lives. And when you lose something, you realize, oh, what you have. And when I lost my wife, my love and appreciation for her went up 10 times.
Yeah.
Even today, I could have never done everything I did. You know, right now, trying to write a book and do all my accounting and do all the business and handle all these things and go shopping and get food and cook dinners. I couldn't do any of that stuff. But she did all that for me. And my gosh, and I was happy and grateful. We had a beautiful relationship, but now having lost her, I appreciate her more. So I told my wife now, she asked, I said, I've never loved anybody as much as Bonnie, and I love her 10 times more now. But because of that, my heart is open 10 times more. And so you're getting the benefit of me loving you 10 times more than I could love her. And that's real. I always say to women when they ask me questions like, this guy's already been divorced. I said, just, or he's starting again. If he has good feelings about his ex, he's a gold mine. If he feels burnt by his past relationship, run. Because if a man can't look after a relationship ends without love and forgiveness for himself and that person and realize what was good, he didn't learn to heal from it. We have to learn to heal our hearts. You know, my classes, and I do want to mention that July 18th and 20th here in Marin County, where you live, Scott, at the Corte Madera Inn, that's about 45-minute drive from the airport, I'll be doing my 3-day class. And it's different from the ones I used to do. It's the way I started out a long time ago doing my Healing the Heart class. I have so much information I could talk for, well, weeks without stopping. I had 300 hours on YouTube that I took off because just too much information. But what I do is I don't do much information except teach people how to heal a broken heart, how to heal their heart, how to heal their past, how to heal their childhood, how to bring back the essence of creativity that they had as a child, love that they had as a child, understand the dynamics of how to heal themselves and to help others. So that's my thing, and more experiential workshops. So I want people to know that's available. And the one coming up July 18th to the 20th, that's an all-day Friday, all-day Saturday, and half-day Sunday. That is half price for this time. So you can go to marsvenus.com if you're interested and go to courses, and it will come up. Okay, so when I'm writing this book, how do you talk so a man will listen? Let's cover that for a minute. It turns out that biologically, this is science now, biologically, when a man experiences adrenaline, now men experience adrenaline, women experience adrenaline, same hormone. It's like when you're rushing around, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you have to get something done and it's not easy and comfortable, that's adrenaline that gets produced. But in a man's brain, what occurs, according to science, is when he's experiencing this moderate stress, not big stress, not like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my mortgage? Okay, we're not talking about that, just moderate stress of life. The mirror neurons in the brain of a man completely close, and the mirror neurons in a woman under moderate stress completely open. And when these mirror neurons open, she will experience 5 to 8 times more blood flow to the emotional part of her brain. And when a man's mirror neurons close, he will experience 0 blood flow to the emotional part of his brain. This is why men like to do adrenaline stimulating things. Like, you know, I used to always want to drive my car fast. I still do a bit. Because when you drive your car fast, you produce adrenaline. You can't worry about anything except the policeman behind you, but you still feel very confident like you're in charge of the world. Why do men climb these mountains? Why do men go to gyms? Why do men push themselves so hard at times? It frees them. It's like meditation. It frees you from any negative emotions that you could have. That's what adrenaline does for a man. It closes these mirror neurons. Now, what's the function of mirror neurons? Well, it's certainly how children learn. They observe others and copy and so forth. There's a lot to it, but the main function is a mirror neuron will allow you to, when it's open, feel happy when somebody's happy. It will allow you to feel sad when somebody's sad. It will allow you to feel what somebody else is feeling. It allows you to think about what they're feeling. It allows you to worry about what's going on with them. But when a man's mirror neurons are closed, he doesn't feel any of that. And that's called connection. So if a man is in adrenaline, there's no way a woman will feel connected to him. So a woman would be talking to a man and complaining, and then she'll feel, you're not listening to me at all. You never listen to me. Because what closes a man's mirror neurons is any message that promotes adrenaline. For example, when a woman says, honey, we need to talk. For any man, your adrenaline will shoot up right away. And anything she says after that, he's not going to be able to experience. All he'll do is analyze. He'll go right into the analytical side of his brain. and look at why she's overreacting and what's the solution to it and how she should look at it differently. And what she's looking for is something she could easily get from a girlfriend, which is somebody's going to nod their head and go, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Yes. Oh, yes. So one of the practicalities of talking to a man, I'm just giving you one. It's a big, these are all 300-page books. You know, there's 1,000 words that 1,000 pages. Yeah, 1,000 pages I wrote in January. I just sat down, you know, when the big Kumbh Mela was happening in India and there was a big lineup of all the charts. It all just came through and I wrote out 1,000 words. Then I had to figure out how to put it all together in a coherent form, which is what I've almost finished doing. So the idea of when a woman is talking to a man, if he feels stressed in any way, meaning if he feels blamed in any way, if he feels criticized in any way, if he feels challenged in any way, his mirror cells will close down. And of course, women with other women, that doesn't happen. So she'll be complaining or she'll talk about her feelings or let's talk about the relationship. And she doesn't understand why he's not into it. Well, he can't be into it unless you approach him a certain way. You have to train him, and women can train men how to listen to a woman's feelings. Because when a man can listen to your feelings, his brain reacts differently from another woman's brain. So you can get a kind of support from women, which is empathy, relatedness, connectedness. But men don't give that. When their mirror cells open, if a woman can share her feelings about something that's bothering her, we'll call those negative emotions: frustration, disappointment, worries, concerns, regrets. You know, these are emotional states that we get into. Now, when a woman talks from that place with that emotion in the tone of her voice, if she's talking to her husband, he basically is going to feel, to a great extent, if it's about him, defensive. And every woman knows that. That's why they say men never listen. They don't know how to listen, or they just want to solve my problem. Because to them, there's no empathy at that time, other than a little for sure. But his mirror cells close. As soon as he feels in any way he's being blamed or he's come up short, then he will become what we call defensive. However, there's a workaround here. And this is one point I want to make. I've trained myself so easily to listen to my wife be upset about things. It doesn't bother me at all because I already understand whatever she says, she's going to feel better if I don't react to it. Okay. I have 100% certainty that when she's upset about something, I just have to listen and say, well, help me understand that better. Tell me more. What else? And she will feel better. She has to. Now, that's another point that I explain in the book, which is that whenever a woman is stressed, moderately stressed, or high stress, her body is making too much testosterone, and her body needs to make more estrogen. This is biological. You can measure a woman producing stress. Her estrogen levels are too low, according to the norms, and her testosterone is too high, according to the norms. It's when she's too far on her male side, not on her female side. We call estrogen her female side, testosterone her male side. Why do we do that? Because whenever a man doesn't make 10 times more testosterone than a woman, he will be producing stress. Some food just came out of my teeth. And when a woman is stressed, you measure the stress hormone, always when the stress hormone is going on, and the majority of time, her estrogen levels are too low and her testosterone is too high. She's too far on her male side. She's not nurturing her female side. And as a result, she'll be stressed. By raising her estrogen levels, her stress will go down. Therefore, we have the common occurrence of 90% of people who go to therapists are women who talk about their feelings, and they feel better. because it's a biological reality. If you're a woman and you talk about your unhappy feelings, your frustrations, your disappointments, etc., to somebody who's not reacting defensively at all, your estrogen levels will go up. Your oxytocin goes up, your estrogen levels go up, your stress goes down. It's a simple formula. It's biology. Think about a woman 1,000 years ago, because we have a brain that was developed thousands of years ago. Stress responses that your unconscious mind grips. What it was Vincent was talking about. Everything's controlled by your unconscious mind. Well, when did that all get developed? It's all the wiring in your brain. Well, it got developed at a time where if a woman was pregnant with a child, and they often were because they didn't have birth control, and the tiger appeared, that's danger. And so what's her first hormonal response? She's got to go tell somebody. She needs to call for help. She needs to get help. She needs to make big noises. She needs the men to go get that tiger. And what do the men do? They all get together and get quiet. And they focus on getting rid of the tiger, killing it, or scaring it off. So men become quiet and their stress goes down. They take action and they become quiet. And women make a lot of noise. They talk, they share, they get upset. And even when the men were out of town, when the tigers are out in the forest and the tigers would make noises outside, the women would also make noises to scare the tigers away. Women need to make noise. They need to express their feelings. Why, under moderate stress, do women have 8 times more blood flow to the emotional part of the brain so she can tell somebody with emotion? If you just say to your husband, hey, I think there's a tiger outside, it's not going to motivate him much. She's got a tiger, tiger, tiger. She got to make a big show out of it. And women do that. That's the behind the closed doors in marriage. I understand it all. Women do all kinds of crazy stuff, trying to get a man's attention, being all upset, all this. So how can I hear it from my wife? And how can a man hear that? Well, I have 50 years of training, but where'd my training come from? Because women come into my office and I learned how to ask certain set of questions. I have a particular set of skills to within 20, 30 minutes get most women to cry. Okay, it's emotion. So when she experiences emotion, what it does to my brain is magic. Whenever a man experiences emotion from a woman or a child and you're not feeling blamed, because see, the clients aren't blaming me. If they're blaming me, I'd be all defensive. They're talking about their husband. They're talking about other people, not me. So if a woman can share her emotions and not have it be about her husband, but about something else, she can be all emotional and just say, I just need you to listen and ask questions. That's it. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to do anything. And what will happen, and this is shown in brain scans, is that the part of the brain that feels empathy will light up. First of all, his mirror cells open wide when a woman is emotional. There's 2 places where a man's mirror cells, that means my ability to feel what you feel, my ability to connect with you, to be one with you. There's 2 places. One, when a man's turned on, sex. That's the most important doorway for a man to feel his feelings. Unfortunately, we live in a society that doesn't teach men how to have sex. All the books on sex, except mine, and maybe some others that I haven't read, are all focused on performance. How to increase your pleasure. It's like how to eat more ice cream. That'll just make you fat. A little's good. But what's the purpose of sex? The purpose of sex is particularly for a man, it's so he can feel more. Because it's the only time when a man's testosterone goes up automatically and his estrogen goes up automatically. That means his female side goes up, his testosterone side goes up, and that's because his mirror cells open up. And if during making love, he uses that moment to enjoy the pleasure, but use the pleasure to feel more, and in feeling more, focus his attention, like in meditation, you'd focus on a mantra, you focus on how much you love your partner and talk to them and tell them over and over how much I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, while she's coming over and over and over. The key there is for men to express, first feel, and express their love for their partner. And this is the beautiful thing about our civilization that values monogamy. It was the evolution to recognize romantic love, to sustain romantic love. We now have the biology of that. Which book is that written? That's in Be Happy With or Without a Man. But one of the benefits of being with a man is that if he's monogamous, your estrogen levels effortlessly stay high. If you're a celibate woman, if you're celibate, you can keep these high estrogen levels as well. But if you have sex with yourself or sex without love, your body does not make an important hormone called prolactin. Prolactin is the hormone of longevity. It's the hormone of dramatic stress reduction. It's why couples in monogamous relationships, and we'll call that marriage, has proven that married couples, which are not rare, all we think about is all these unhappy couples. Well, half the couples that get married are great. They live a whole lifetime. They have a wonderful life. That gets no publicity in the world, is how many wonderful couples there are who love each other for a lifetime. And what happens is through monogamy, through bonding and through monogamy, only in monogamy do you produce this hormone called prolactin. All it takes is go do some porn, go do yourself, go have sex without love, casual sex. And not only do you not produce prolactin, but you produce a higher than normal levels of dopamine at the level of cocaine, and you become addicted to promiscuous sex because you don't have that clarity of bonding with somebody by producing the hormones of increasing testosterone and estrogen in a man, and for a woman, increasing estrogen, and then her testosterone comes up to its highest level when she has orgasm. And this is what we hope to be the spiritual ecstasy of life. We talked about the angels as far as a external visitation for me, not something I need or have tried to have, but one day I was meditating. This is maybe 20 years ago, probably. And this voice spoke to me from outside. I have internal conversations with God all the time, but the outside voice spoke to me and it said, "Hi, John." That was it. "Hi, John." Just loud. And it was pure masculinity. And it was pure femininity. It was not no sex angel. It was both sex angel. It was a blend of the masculine energy, a blend of the feminine energy. And as human beings, we can hope to blend that through loving relationships, through orgasmic fulfillment with each other, or through loving connection with each other. When a man can fully open his heart to a woman and yet be of service to her and not have negative emotions. You see, whenever a man has negative emotions, his stress levels are off the chart. Now he's no longer making adrenaline. Anytime a man has a negative emotion, he's producing cortisol. It's a different hormone. It's a terrible stress hormone. It's what you produce when there's really a tiger facing you. And you produce cortisol. And if you continue to produce cortisol chronically, then you get heart attacks and you get cholesterol problems, all that stuff. It's all about high stress levels that people get sick with that. Acute stress is not such a big deal. It just means you have a stress reaction to fight the tiger and get away, whatever it is. But then it has to settle back down. But for us as human beings today, there's no tiger. You've got about 10 minutes to deal with a tiger. And if you don't come back to safety, you're dead. So your brain basically says for a man, I can listen to a woman talk and be upset for about 10 minutes. That's a max. Women have to understand that. If you're upset, give a man 10 minutes. And this is one of the techniques I teach, which is called Venus talk. In a Venus talk, you can open a man's, remember I said there's two places. One is in sex, and the other is when a man is responding to an emotional an emotional distress signal, and he's not being blamed. Okay, so we're emergency workers, you know, firemen, policemen, soldiers, and all that. As long as it doesn't take, it can start happen and go back. That's okay. So what happens is that under situations of emergency, where there's emotion, where there's life and death danger, when there's emotion, men's receptor sites will open up. Perfect for a woman. You've got 5 to 8 times more emotion just being moderately stressed. Just don't throw that on him. Learn to identify your emotions, be emotional, but not about him, except when you're feeling loving towards him. Instead, let him be your therapist and say, honey, I want to talk for 10 minutes. I know that's all you got. So give me your undivided attention. Don't speak. Don't say anything. You don't need to give me comforting words. All you have to do is listen. And I'm going to speak. So he, in his mind, what will happen, and this is now seen in the brain of men, the emotional part of his brain will light up, not as much as another woman's would, but he will feel some empathy. But another part of the brain lights up, which is in the back part of the brain, which has to do with take action to help you. And you've already told him the action I need you to do is just listen. So he's going to focus all his attention, 100% focus on listening. You have to give him the job to do. So he's going to listen to make you happy. And the prefrontal cortex gets lit up, particularly the left prefrontal cortex, which has to do with optimism. So you could be feeling really, really terrible, and he's going to hear you. He's going to want to help you, and he's going to feel optimistic, which means I can help. This is an amazing thing. You know, I remember Bonnie's grandmother. I used to spend time with her. Her husband had died, and she would always say she missed him so much. I said, well, tell me what you miss about him. She said, oh, when I was upset, he would hold me, and I would just tell him, just tell me everything's going to be okay. And he would say, honey, everything's going to be okay. We'll always be together. She needed to hear those words. Well, that's the optimism in a man's brain. But when men feel defensive and a woman's upset with him, he might have a reaction like, well, if you can't be happy, then what are we doing together anyway? Unless you change your thinking, you know, you're just going to continue to suffer. Instead of understanding how women's brains are wired. Now, Men Are From Mars gave us all that understanding. I just didn't have the science behind it. But it's so good to understand that whenever a man or woman has adrenaline, they have opposite reactions. He will underreact. He has no feelings. She will overreact. She will have 8 times more emotion than she would normally have if she wasn't stressed. That's another thing I cover in one of my books. I forget which one that is. And I didn't mention the third title, and I would love for people in giving me feedback. I've got 3 titles here. Which one should I release first, and which one do you like? One is How to Talk to a Man So He'll Listen. And the bottom line of that is when you talk to a man so he'll listen, he'll feel motivated, he'll feel compassion, and he'll want to help you more. That's the thing. You want to wake up that part of men that goes to sleep after they marry you. You know, when a man's goal is to get to the top of the mountain and he gets there, he just has lunch and goes to sleep. Once it gets you, men, they don't get that dopamine hit of overcoming and achieving and getting there. So anyway, this is...
Say it slowly, John, because I'm putting it into the chat box. So what's the first title?
The first one is How to Talk So a Man Will Listen. And that will increase compassion and motivation in men, which gets lost. The next one is being happy with a man or without a man. Because it's very important that if you want to be in a relationship with a man, you have to first learn how to be happy without one. It's a foundation. Otherwise, you'll be too needy and expect too much for him. And you don't have to have a man. You can make this magic prolactin hormone without a man as long as you maintain your sexual energy and only loving relationships, monogamous loving relationship. Otherwise, you become a nun, basically, just connecting with God. And that's all fine, too. That's your choice. But there's a lot of different skills. I teach you how to manage your stress without a man in your life. There's other things you can do. So that's called being happy with or without a man. And the third is what to do when a man pulls away. I don't know if it should be what to do when a man pulls away, or what you should do when a man disappears. But I think it's more like when he pulls away, because women don't know what to do. They're always asking me, "What do I do? He's not calling back. What do I do? He goes into his cave. He never comes back. What do I do? He's lost motivation." So that book answers that question with a variety of practical solutions. So those are the 3 books: What to Do When a Man Pulls Away, Being Happy With or Without a Man, and How to Talk So a Man Will Listen. I'm thinking that will be the first one I bring out, or Being Happy, and then I'll bring out the other 2.
Okay, so everybody put in your votes. Which
Put in your
one?
votes. I'll listen because I'm just about to decide which one to put on Amazon first.
Yeah, put in your votes of what you have the most, interest in. And while you're doing that, I do want to take you to John's website, where all things John Gray live. And of course, what's the website? Well, of course, it's marsvenus.com. Marsvenus.com. And that's a picture of John with his daughter. And he's got a really fun quiz on how to get everything you want in relationships. So definitely,
that's a 3-day class. That's a free 3-day class for people online. And then we have courses up there. We have blogs. We have events. We also have a place at the very bottom, which is called Contact Us. I used to have a wellness site at on my website, and people are always wanting wellness advice. Well, people are all asking me what supplements to take for balancing their hormones. And so if you go to marsvenus.com, just contact, and say you'd like to know John's health recommendations, one of my Mars Venus coaches on health and wellness will contact you and give you the names of these different products that I recommend. I don't put it in the print because sometimes they're changing and whatever, but there's products that I recommend particularly for helping to balance hormones. For men, it's a really big deal these days, testosterone. Men's average testosterone levels today for every age level is half of what it was 50 years ago. Half. And everything about a man's positive mood has to do with healthy testosterone levels. The old thinking before my books and the research which is out there, I popularize it. People don't realize this. They all think that testosterone makes men aggressive. Testosterone makes men angry. No, if you also if you take testosterone injections, then you do have road rage. But if you look at the biology of what happens, is that if you lose confidence and you're a man, if you're not having confidence, then what happens is your testosterone levels convert into estrogen, and you have high estrogen levels. Always, whenever a man is procrastinating, a man is moody, a man is feeling sorry for himself, a man is irritable, a man is grumpy, a man is passive aggression, all those things, his estrogen is high, his testosterone is low. And I focus particularly for men, but also for women, very important, is belly fat. Okay, for men, as we get older, our testosterone levels go down, down, down. It's directly linked to our belly fat. The more we've not managed our testosterone, for example, my testosterone is 50% higher than I was a young man. It's probably 3 times higher at this moment than I was as a young man, because I'm expressing myself with confidence. I'm making a difference. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm all the things that Vincent talks about. I made my place in the world. I'm validated. It takes a whole lifetime. There's no part of me that doesn't feel good enough. Okay, I'm good enough. I'm not perfect. I don't have to be perfect. As a matter of fact, I realize I can pretty much only do one thing good, which is help people with the relationships. But I can do that. I see it my whole life. I've been doing it. I'm healthy. But as you get older, there is this tendency. I would say it's directly related to how many times you've complained out loud. Anytime you complain out loud, if you're a man, your estrogen levels are going up, and your wiring in your brain is going towards going to your female side when there's challenge rather than going to your male side. What a man has to learn to do is suck it up. Now, it seems so harsh and cruel, and I know we live in this soft, wimpy environment, and the poor guys with their low testosterone, their high estrogen, their feelings get hurt. Okay. I've studied Qigong. I'm Qigong master. Okay, I go to China for 12 years. I'm a Hindu master. I've been there for 18 years. I studied all these things. And if you look at, in India, it's equanimity. Okay, in China, the sweet story. One of my favorite Chinese phrases is "Men don't cry." Okay, men don't cry unless their heart is broken. Now, that's the biology of a man. A man should not talk about his emotions unless the problem is really big. Okay, then he has to process his emotions because his estrogen has gone way high. Like when my wife died, I had to process my emotions. I was extremely emotional. Okay, and I am an emotional person, but if I have negative emotions, because I'm very much male female, I got both male and female energies, got high testosterone, high estrogen. And in that state of balance, if I'm tipped over one direction, out of balance, a man will experience emotion, negative emotion. See, I understand negative emotion is just low testosterone. So, what's the most powerful way to raise your testosterone when you're emotional? Use your muscles. That's all you have to do. This is why the old phrase, suck it up. I can just contract my stomach muscles, okay, which are strong abs. That's the most important exercise for a man is strong abs. All you have to do is contract your muscles and don't talk. You contain those negative emotions and they disappear. And people go, where'd they go? Well, your body just stopped making them because you raised your testosterone. Now, women think, oh, no, you must be suppressing those emotions. You need to talk about those emotions. Therapists say, oh, you must talk about those emotions. Well, as soon as you talk about them, now you have to suppress them. Okay. When men talk about negative emotions, it actually raises your estrogen. When women talk about negative emotions, it raises their estrogen and they need to talk about it. If they can talk about it, then their stress goes down. But if men talk about negative emotions or use negative emotions to get what you want, then what happens is your testosterone goes down. Okay, now estrogen becomes a predominant player. This is in my healing workshops, what we have to realize, if ever you use a negative emotion to get what you want or to control you. So let's say my fear holds me back. I'm just creating pathways in my brain to let fear rule my life. If I use anger to hurt somebody or intimidate somebody or punish somebody, then now I'm an emotional being. Now I'm using anger, so I'll get angrier easier and easier and easier. If I feel like sad all the time and I'm using that as an excuse to get attention or use that as a tool to get sympathy, feel sorry for me and give to me, then what happens is the brain goes, oh, I'll use that. Whatever you use to get what you want grows stronger in your brain. And for women, they need to use emotions, but not to change the outer world, not to change their husband. That's called complaining. Instead, learn to share your negative emotions so you can be aware of them and let them go. So let love always be your guiding star. Love is the opposite of all these negative emotions, and a little confusing for people is you only have negative emotions towards your partner because you love them and you care about them. And so people confuse negative emotions as, well, I'm loving you right now. No, you're upset with me because you do love me, but right now you're not loving me. Right now you're withholding your love from me. But the love is there, but we have to find the love, and we can't look to our partners to change in order for us to feel the love in our heart. Then we are victims and our brain doesn't change. We can't anchor ourselves back to who we were as little children, who our hearts were totally open. We were in awe of the world. Our brain was genius. My daughter was saying to me, she's excited about my new book coming out. And she says, now, Dad, you don't have to write like you did when you were younger. You're in your 70s. I said, honey, I'm writing 10 times faster than I was younger.
Oh.
It's just, I haven't written in 6 years. So a lot of it's coming out now. I continue to teach, but it's because we have genius inside of us when we connect with our emotions inside. And so when I'm talking about men don't talk about your emotions, I'm not saying don't be emotional. I'm saying be aware of your emotions, just don't talk them out loud. Yeah. Unless it's a big problem, and then your estrogen levels have gotten to a really high level. And even then, I don't talk about them. I process them quietly and by journaling. And I should mention to everybody that very soon I have my Mars Venus Heart Space app, and it will be at my website, and it will process your negative feelings just as if you came into my office and I asked you the questions to help you go through all of your negative emotions. It's an amazing tool that people will be able to have is the Heart Space app. One of the more profound techniques that I teach that people usually don't do it. It's too hard to do. Now the computer will do it for you. But it's when you're upset with somebody, you give yourself a chance to vent your feelings, your anger, and then your sadness, and then your fears, and then your regrets, and then what you want, what you need, what you wish. And then you imagine and you write all that out. And then you imagine the person you're upset with expressing love and support for you, giving you active listening, reflecting back what you're saying. And then you imagine if you got that support, how would that make you feel? And then it writes out what it would make you feel and gives you affirmations, and you go through a whole therapy session automatically for you. I've been working on this algorithm since 1994, and now with the help of chat, I can make it work. It's fantastic. And so it's coming out. It's a very
John,
exciting
when
time
that
for
comes
me.
out, let's have you on the show again to launch it. I would love to do that. Maybe we'll do it in collaboration. 'Cause, you work a lot with Tangela, and she is my co-host once a month. So let's do another one to when you launch that, because I would love to share that.
Oh, it'll be so much fun. It's
Oh, yeah.
so great. It's
That
so
sounds
great.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
again, I want to remind everybody about Sean. There he is. I mean, he's on the cover of the new Living Expo digital guide. And so definitely make sure let's all come and be with John. And thank you, John. You're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. All that you provide and all your wisdom. And you're so generous with sharing it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Always good to see you, Scott. And thank you all and all the wonderful presenters today. If I left anybody out, excuse me. And then Omashar, loved your music. It's fantastic.
You were great, John. And I learned some meditation in the 70s at the ashram in Santa Monica. So TM is great. Thank you.
Yeah, well, if I remind people, now I don't do TM anymore. It's a good beginner's technique. I recommend it to everybody. But a lot of people are more advanced than beginners, and so they get bored doing beginner's techniques. So if you get bored, for some people you can be very advanced and do it, but some people it doesn't always, it makes them bored. I'd be bored doing it. So I have a different, more Qigong type version of moving the energies through your body and expanding to your bigger bodies and your bigger bodies and expanding out to the universe. You can experience, I have over 40 different meditations. They're all at, what is it called? On YouTube.
Your channel, yeah.
Yeah, well, not my channel. It's just out. Maybe it's my channel. I'm all over the place, but it's John Gray Radiant Mind Meditation, and there's like 40 of them, and they're on manifestation. They're on higher states of consciousness. They're on healing your past. Building confidence. All those different types of processes. Take your pick. They're all fun.
Thanks, John. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, looking forward to being there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Ken, for being my co-host. Looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing as many of our audience as possible. Again, newlivingexpo.com is where you can get all the information. You can get tickets. Very, very reasonable. The main thing is come, be there. And you can stay at it's at a really nice hotel. It's at the Embassy Suites. So a lot of people, if you're traveling from out of town, stay at the Embassy Suites. We all are hanging out, going out to dinner, spending time together. It's definitely a wonderful place to be.
Thanks, Scott.
I'm going to be brief with our announcements because the show is already way long and I'm way hungry, to be perfectly honest. But I wanted to, one of the people who's going to be an exhibitor at your show is with us. She's in the audience. So I'm going to bring up Anna because one of the great things, yes, Anna, you on camera. One of the great things about the Expo is all the exhibitors, all the people that booths and things. So Anna, I wanted to give you a minute just to share you're on camera with what you're going to be doing at the Expo.
Yeah, my name is Anna, and I'm actually one of the owners of the Stardust Wellness Center in Petaluma. We're an energy enhancement system. And we will be at booth number 72. And we would love to invite all the speakers to come in and join us. And if you have an opportunity, come to our center and enjoy a free session while you're here in town.
And
Right.
tell people briefly about the EE system. I actually just did an EE treatment here in Grass Valley on Monday. And of course, I've done it with you and with Deborah Giusti. But briefly let people know, what is the EE system?
So it's an energy enhancement system. It's scalar energy. And what it basically does is put the room into 5D. So basically you're in timelessness, and the energy in there will help you heal from the inside out. It repairs your DNA. And it's been part of my healing journey that I've been on for about 2.5 years. And without it, I know I wouldn't be in the same place I am today.
Beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful service, Anna, and I recommend it to everybody. So thank you. And I want to just give you a moment to share that. And a big hello to Liz Connors, who connected us and who's
I am not camera ready.
there you are. Hi, Liz.
We're roommates.
Perfect.
What a
Listen,
great
it's
show.
one big family here.
Yes.
Yes, we definitely want to invite folks to come check out the amazing center. I've been to multiple centers up and down the West Coast, and the one that Anna holds space at, because of her amazing energy, is so high vibe, like off the charts. And again, not sure if you heard, but she's offering that you come visit us for a free session. It's about 23 to 26 minutes, depending on traffic, right from the Embassy Suites.
Okay.
We'll be there.
Thanks for being with us. All right, Ken. Well,
All right,
thank
baby.
you. A great show. What an amazing Daniel and John Gray and Sasha and Radley and Vincent and great music
Kelly.
with Astra, Omashar. And we're going to close out with music. And Fanny and Vigari, also known as Star Child and Vigari, are going to complete the evening for us.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, here we are. Great shout out to John Gray for all your beautiful insights and the way in which you can enable all of us to deal with all the things we have to deal with.
John, you are so funny. Thank you for all that you do to make this world a better place, male, female, and bringing the energy high. And it's just really fun. I'd love to play music for you, man. But I will play here tonight. So I'd love to be at the Expo and share our loving light together, because we have I think that a couple stay together if they play together, not just in the bedroom, but if you dance together, play together, have fun together.
Well, that's what we do.
That was what we do. That's why we're together for 30 years. So we're still doing it, and our love grows and grows. So here we are.
And of course, much love to all of the other presenters.
Yes.
You're all quite interesting. And thank you, Scott, for being at the helm of all of this.
So here we are. We fly with the music. That is how we truly make our love. keeps on flowing to where you've never been before. It's a blissfulness, a benediction, an ecstasy that should not be contained within you. Like a seed, it should open, like a flower overflowing. Spread your fragrance, your radiance, your dance of the beyond, your dance for everyone. Music is flowing, reaching for higher ground. Music is flowing, music is love, reaching for higher ground. Music is love in all the colors, in harmony with the water. It swirls playfully beneath the sky, showered with blessings from the stars. Come in passion, spread your light, the dance of the beyond, reaching in and reaching out, in the dance of the lovers. Yes, yes. Drink of the sweet nectar and listen. Reaching in and reaching out from the divine within. Music is flowing, reaching for higher ground. Music is flowing, reaching for higher ground. Reaching for higher ground, reaching for higher ground. Your love is so deep, like the deep blue sea. Your love is high.
Music is flowing, reaching for higher ground, reaching in, reaching out. Music is flowing, the dance of the lovers, reaching for higher ground in all the colors. Music is flowing, the river, reaching for higher ground, reaching for love. Music is flowing. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching in, reaching out. Music is flowing. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. In all the colors. Music is flowing. Reaching for higher ground. Reaching in, reaching out. Music is flowing, like the dance of the lovers, reaching for higher ground, heals like the sun. Music is flowing, reaching for
Beautiful, beautiful way to conclude an incredible show. Remember, you can find Star Child and Vigari right here. There's their phone number. It's starchild.ca. Starchild.ca, and definitely get their music. You can find them as the Mystiques 1111. And we love you both. And I know that we'll see you. I know I've got you booked on the show for a couple of weeks from now, I think it is. So we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful
Thank you
night.
again, John and Ken and everybody, all of our presenters, and of course, our beloved Omashar for the brand new, beautiful song that he shared with us tonight. And next week's shows, Wednesday night, I will be at the Evolutionary Leaders Circle Retreat. I'm driving down to Santa Barbara tomorrow. And so Wednesday's show is going to be members of the retreat who are going to be there. Pato and Antoinette are coming, Kristen Huffman, so many of the people you've seen on this show. But I'm going to probably try and invite some of the people you haven't met yet that are part of the Evolutionary Leaders. And the next Saturday night is another Soul Search collaboration. And so we'll have psychics and healers here to share good things with you. Thank you, everybody. And final thought, remember, tomorrow's Sunday. We can make it a sacred Sunday, and we can make any moment, any day sacred by choosing to see the divine in all. Let's do that. Let's make a commitment to remember our dreams tonight and remember to write them down first thing in the morning. And let's all get the wonderful wisdom from John Gray. So many wonderful resources provided to us tonight. I'll bring up Ken one last time. Ken?
Oh, baby, thanks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah, from yesterday. Yeah.
And I went dancing last night with the Oshkosh in Berkeley, so I can relate. Doing fun things with the wife.
Absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful, guys. Thanks.
All right, I'll bring up John and Omashar one last time, just for us to appreciate them and that they're still with us all this time. Thank you. And Fanny and Vigari, thank you very much, all of you. And God blessings.
Blessings all of you.
Have a beautiful Sunday.
Keep on loving.